right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Hen House markets and select Sunfresh locations.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh Radner, and I am so excited to tell you about How We Made Your Mother, a rewatch podcast looking back at How I Met Your Mother. And I'm here with Craig Thomas, who co-created the show along with Carter Bays. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Josh. Somehow it has been 20 years since the show premiered. I'm going to check the math on that. 10 years since it went off the air. And we thought that made this a perfect time to look back, see what the hell we did, and why the show still seems to resonate with fans around the world today.
Follow and listen to How We Made Your Mother wherever you get your podcasts.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. The Fans Draft Party is Thursday, April 23rd, live from the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill starting at 6 o'clock. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Welcome in. This is the second Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Christian Osero. I am joined, as always, by my guy, Jay Binkley. How you doing, Jay?
Doing good, man. We're getting a little bit closer. Every week we're less than, what? Well,
2.5
weeks
weeks,
from
a
tomorrow.
little bit over 2 weeks.
From tomorrow. Yeah.
Right. We got Jackson Ogden on the other side producing this operation for the next 3 hours. So we're really excited to be back on the air here to do another Chiefs NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. We appreciate all the people taking time out of their Wednesday evening to listen to us. And, we're going to be hitting on a lot of things over the next 3 hours. We're going to talk to Thor Nystrom, guy that we bring on every year during these draft specials to talk about the NFL draft. And then in the 7 o'clock hour, we're also going to bring on Ron Kopp Jr. from Arrowhead Pride in studio, and we will have him talking NFL draft as well.
What's a tradition? Thor always knows this stuff, whether we agree with it, because there's some stuff that's off the wall, but sometimes draft people really like their guy.
Yeah.
But the knowledge of the players and the watch the film, and Ron certainly does a ton of that as well, including went to the Shrine Bowl this year as well. So
I gotta give Ron a shout out, and I'll do it when he gets on the air too. He hooked me up on some all 22 camera footage of teams a couple years ago. After the 24 draft, he was posting some cut-ups of the players that the Chiefs drafted, and I was like, "Oh, hold on a second," like, because if you know that like the all 22 stuff for college is very difficult to find. So I DM'd him after I saw he was posting some of the stuff. It was on the day 3 guys. It was like Jared Wiley and Jaden Hicks, and I was like, "Hey, Ron, how you get that?" How you get that all 22 camera footage? And he hooked me up. So we got a guy now, and I'm very appreciative. It has helped me out the last couple draft seasons with my evaluation of players. I talked about on Monday how I was rewatching some of the Ruben Bain tape, and I was rewatching from the All-22. So you get some interesting views of what we're watching. So
a lot of people like them some Ruben Bain.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about that when Ron comes in the 7 o'clock hour. But I want to start, and by the way, our NFL draft coverage here on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. So today it was announced by Fernando Mendoza's camp that he's going to be skipping out from attending the NFL draft. We are talking about a life-defining moment from a number 1 overall pick, presumably, and he's deciding to skip out on that. How does that make you, Bink, as a fan of the draft, as someone who, I guarantee you, when you were young and you were playing football at Oak Park, you would have loved to have been the guy standing up there with that number 1 jersey back when Paul Tagliabue was the commissioner. How does that make you feel?
I always like when the guys show up for it. Do they have to show up? No, they obviously don't. Remember Brett Favre was laying on his bed when they called him. It was much different back in the day. Some guys are playing basketball or doing whatever where they get the call.
Yeah.
But first rounders is different. And getting that's an honor. Remember it was in Kansas City. We had a select group of guys that came to Kansas City. Even Will Levis showed up, right? Will Levis. Porter Jr.
Felix
showed up.
Anudike-Uzomah was attending the draft as a fan and then had to run back home because he ended up getting drafted by the Chiefs at the end of the first round day.
Will Levis was there waiting. Just didn't happen. Gets on a plane and leaves, and he was drafted, boom, right there at the beginning of the second round. I understand he wants to be with his family to watch parties, stuff like that. But the thing is, you got all the time in the world for that. You got all the time in the world for that. Being the overall number 1 pick, I don't know, man. The NFL is certainly doing a big-time job. Now, again, they could do whatever they want. But I feel like the NFL marketing arm is doing a great job, and they'll continue to market him and put money in his pocket, to be quite honest with you. But the NFL is just different, man. Like, the NFL is different. This is what people want. There's going to be 700,000 people in Pittsburgh there to watch you. I'll guarantee you this. Had the draft been in Las Vegas again, he would have found a way to show up at the NFL draft.
Are you sure?
I think he would have.
Are you sure?
I think if he was picked in front of his
Pittsburgh's
people,
closer. Where's he from originally?
Well, he started off at Cal. He's from Miami.
Is he from Miami? Well, it's closer there than Vegas.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, had it been in Vegas and he's going to Vegas, he would have.
Are you sure?
He would have.
I'm not sure. I think this was a decision that he made. Look, I actually am fine with it. Like, I personally would attend if I was 100% certain, or at least like 90% certain I was going to be number 1 or picked in the top 5. Like, to me, if I was like considered a mid-first round guy, maybe I stay home. But if I'm certain to be a top 10 pick, if I'm Ruben Bain or someone like that, I'm definitely there. Because like you don't get that moment again if you're one of those players. Like that moment, that might be the highlight of your career if you're in that position being number 1 overall. Because we know that a lot of those guys who are number 1 overall don't work out.
You know the group of people, I don't blame at all for not showing up, and those are the ones that are possible sliders.
Yeah,
because and
like Will Levis, who should not have shown
because
up
the
here.
camera loves to show you, and they love to show you pissed.
Yeah.
And remember Randy Moss? They kept showing Moss as he started sliding.
Remember Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers
Brady
kept
Quinn?
sliding down. So I don't mind the ones that are going to be made into an example.
Into a meme?
If you're going 1-1, come on, babe. You know you're going.
Like, if I were Ty Simpson, I might not go. I might be like,
If I were Ty Simpson, I would stay my ass at home.
You know what's going to happen. He gets to pick 20 or gets to 21. The Steelers are picking. They don't take him. Camera's all on you.
The camera's going to be in his face the rest of the night. For 3 hours, he's going to have a camera in his face.
Then you're going to show your girlfriend and all that. Just like CeeDee Lamb. Remember, he had the 2 phones. He wasn't there, but he was at home.
Yeah, he's going to be looking sad. He's going to be his girlfriend's going to be hugged up on him, and it's going to be really embarrassing. And you're going to be on, like, every year during the draft when they talk about draft sliders, people who fall down in the first round or even out of the first round, his face is going to be on it, just like Aaron Rodgers' face was on it, just like Brady Quinn's face was on it, and you don't want to be a part of that.
Like, could you imagine if Shador went last year? It would have been.
He made such a great
Oh,
decision.
he would have
to go
owned the
there.
camera.
That
Would
would
have
have
owned the
been
camera.
a-
They would have shown him, then
Deion-
pan to Mel
Deion would've-
Kiper
Deion
crying,
would've kicked-
back to him, Mel Kiper crying. back to
Dion
him.
would have kicked the cameraman out of their little booth area
Deion
backstage. Dion would have been like, nah, you got to go. You got to go. They would have left in the middle of the first round if he would have made it past like 15, 16.
Yeah, and Mel Kiper would have carried him on.
Oh, yeah. He would have been like, you know what? Solidarity. I'm
take a
leaving.
ride.
I'm leaving
Take a
too.
ride.
He would have been there at Dion's house with the rest of
I'm
the
mad as
Sanders
hell, and
family.
we're not going to take
Mel
it anymore.
Kiper's still saying the Browns don't need a quarterback. He's saying they don't need one. They got one. They've
Well,
got
I
Shador.
mean, if we're there's not like there's a whole lot of options. Maybe they take Garrett Nussmeier day two.
later, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not like they have a whole lot of options there. What are they at 6?
Yeah, they sick.
If they
Yeah.
make it, I don't know exactly. I don't think there's any financial reasons to go, but they fly you, you stay free, they bring your family, they spend a lot of money, on you going. So you're not out any money going.
Yeah, I mean they are out money for the suit. You gotta they borrow that money for the suit.
Oh, the agent gives them that.
Yeah, but that's because they're expecting to get that money back. Like that's not free.
Oh, but they
it's not a
like to
free
look good,
gift.
man.
You're expecting to
They
get that money back.
They like to look good.
You're expecting to get that back.
They like
so
to look good.
Let's talk about the biggest story for the Chiefs right now. That being Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice. I don't know if you guys saw him on Twitter today, but he's out here trying to win the PR war. He's posting workout videos.
Any player that resorts to workout videos, it's like, come on, dude.
Remember when
We
he was
don't know
coming,
when this was actually filmed, by the way, too.
Yeah, we don't know, but we assume it was recently. And what's funny is like last year when he was coming back from the PCL tear, he was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
He's very much believe in me, guys.
A lot of workout videos, man.
He said he wants to be in Kansas City long term. He wants to sign another deal with the Chiefs, so we'll see what happens. But Rashee Rice last week, it came out on Friday that he will not be suspended as of now. That could change. The NFL is very reactionary. They change their minds with new information. But as of right now, barring any new developments, Rashee Rice will not be suspended for the domestic violence accusations that came out from his ex-girlfriend, who filed a domestic violence lawsuit against him a couple months ago, I believe. And so the question becomes, one, how does that affect your view on the Rashee Rice's future with the Chiefs? And two, how does that affect the Chiefs' need to draft a wide receiver? Personally, and we talked about this a lot on Monday on the podcast, I do not trust Rashee Rice right now because obviously you have the street racing incident. He pled guilty to it. He has to pay a judgment on that. As far as we know, from what we've heard, he is not. I can understand it. Probably hurting for money right now. And on top of that, then you have this situation going on. And I don't know the exact parameters of what happened, but I personally believe that something had to have happened. I don't know the depth of it. I don't know the seriousness of it. But based on what we heard, I think that something happened there. And if you're the Chiefs, you cannot trust this guy to behave off the field. And, we can have some questions about his on-the-field activity. And, certainly I know you do, I do, especially with his ability to beat man coverage, his ability to be consistent, catch the football, not drop it. But just from an off-the-field perspective, if you're the Chiefs, there's no reason for you to sign him to an extension at all because you cannot trust that he's going to be able to, even if it's a team-friendly deal, you can't trust that he can live up to the valuation that you pay him.
And it probably would be a team-friendly deal considering his value with
Right.
other NFL teams.
Yeah.
Means you've been suspended 6 games. It's coming in double that next time with the NFL. I understand this deal here because, this is a civil deal. Anybody can file any suit against anybody civilly. So I think the NFL did the right thing saying they're not going to do anything with him at this point. But the bottom line is, we'll just look at on the field. And on the field, when he came back, he was great.
Yeah, was it
he's
5
one of the
games?
top
He was
fantasy,
awesome.
one of the top fantasy performers in the NFL. And you're like, man, that connection with Mahomes. Mahomes needs his guy. Elite quarterbacks always have their guy going forward. Obviously, that's been Travis Kelce to this point, but Travis Kelce, after these 17 games, it's got to be goodbye at this point. He's going to leave. And then who's going to be the guy going forward? And all that time, that back shoulder fade that he was catching from Mahomes, and he credited, they're working out at Camp Pat down in Texas, building that connection, that chemistry. And you're like, okay, they got somebody. His rookie year, he was number 2 in the NFL in receptions and yards, only behind Puka. It's like they made the right choice when they went out and got Rashee Rice. But again, to me, it's availability. And that's the biggest thing. Like, you look at this is why I want receiver, which I don't think this changes the draft at all as far as Rashee Rice, because we just don't know. Like, right now it's fine, but you don't know game one. And it's like the Chiefs receivers on paper and the Chiefs receivers in St. Joe when people drive up I-29 to see them, and they love seeing the 70 and 80-yard touchdown bombs. Let's go back to 2024. Oh, these receivers look great. They bring in Hollywood Brown, drafted Xavier Worthy. Rashee Rice gets hurt game 4 for the season. Hollywood Brown goes down in the first preseason game against Jacksonville, and all of a sudden you ask undersized wide receiver drafted in the first round to step up and be number 1, and he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready till about game 6 or 7. Now, Worthy had a great year the rest of the year, but it took a while. And yes, the receivers look good on paper. Then the next year, fast forward to that, Rashee Rice, oh, by the way, the receivers look great in St. Joe. Rashee Rice then gets banged for 6 games. Xavier Worthy gets hurt on play 3 in Brazil, runs into Travis Kelce. He's out for 3 games, and all of a sudden, you don't have anything. And for those receivers that look good on paper, they're not playing in the games when it counts. And you know what? That's the way it is, because this game's not played on paper. It's not played on perception. It's not played on who looked good in St. Joe. No, it's played by the guys that go out and actually catch the football, can beat man coverage, and going forward. They have a quarterback right now, an elite quarterback they're never going to have again in people's lifetimes, in Patrick Mahomes. Get him a receiver. This is an opportunity to do it. That's why I don't think Rashee Rice made a difference. And also, next year, you have nobody under contract except Xavier Worthy in the second year of Tyquan Thornton. Something they could actually back out from.
Right.
So they don't really have
and
anybody.
Jalen Royals.
And Jalen Royals.
Who doesn't play. He doesn't play. Who just couldn't get on the field last year when they were done.
Great practice guy.
Oh, yeah, he's getting workouts there. I agree with you. It does, and obviously we saw that because we did our mock draft 3.0. I had the first pick in the first round, and I took Mekhi Lemon at 9. And my deal is this: one, the injury stuff, that's freak stuff, and it's crazy to happen 2 years in a row, but it's freak stuff. It's not something that I think you can count on. You should have a plan if it does happen, but you can't count on that happening. So we can't just keep pouring all of our resources in wide receiver every year just in case everyone gets hurt. I mean, at that case, we might as well draft a quarterback every year so that just in case Mahomes tears his ACL again. So that's not really my reasoning why. My reason why is that, like you brought up at the end there, like you look at the long term of the receiver position for the Chiefs, and it's Xavier Worthy and Jalen Royals. And we don't even know if Jalen Royals is an NFL receiver based on the fact that he couldn't get on the field last year. So
it's not just he couldn't get on the field. He couldn't get on the field. The receiver suspended 6 weeks and a receiver hurt for 3 games. It would have been easy for somebody to play on this team last year.
They sat Rashee Rice the last, 3-4 weeks
and
of the
I knew,
season?
Listen, he had knee tendonitis, stuff like this. I get it. There were some injury concerns in training camp, and going back to last year when he had injury concerns. One, if you're that concerned about his injuries last year, don't draft him, especially in the year you need receivers. And 2, he never went on IR. So I know I kept getting this. Well, he went on IR, and no, he didn't.
My issue with the talk against the Chiefs taking wide receivers, like, who's your number 1 in 27? Is it Xavier Worthy? Maybe Xavier Worthy takes a step this year. I think he would have taken a step last year if not for the injury, the ankle and the shoulder. It definitely affected his play. So I do think that if he's healthy, he probably takes a step forward. I don't know how big of a step forward, but I think he does. But who's he going to line up next to? Because you need another receiver. And, I think, Ray, I don't know if you've seen Tyreek Hill on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, but Instagram. He's practically begging the Chiefs to sign him.
Which he's still got one more surgery to go. Oh, yeah. And here's the other thing, too, Chris. Next year, it's going to be a year without Travis Kelce as well.
Yeah.
A guy that's either led your team or been number 2 in receiving yards.
We assume,
yeah. I can't see him playing.
I don't either, but, a year ago we thought that this was probably going to be Kelce's last year.
The likelihood is this is it. So the likelihood is you got nobody in the wide receiver room, and you're not going to have a Travis Kelce, meaning in 2027, you got nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, you should go into this draft assuming that Kelsey's playing his last year.
100%.
You should absolutely do
Because
that.
if right now, in 2027, the Chiefs receiver room is nothing, tight end room, nothing.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Like I think that you have to go wide receiver here because
Everybody wants an edge.
Because you have an and I wanted an edge back when Keldrick, Falk, and TJ Parker were top 15. But now that you could probably get them at 29, I'm backing off that. Well, probably not Falk, but I think you could probably get TJ Parker or Zion Young at 29. So I'm kind of backing off that. But
which is good. The smoke screen's working.
Yeah. My thing though is like you need to have a person who has number one potential at wide receiver on your team for sure. And you need to make sure that you're not having, like, you have a top 10 pick. You don't, presumably the Chiefs are probably not going to have very many, if any more, during the Mahomes era. And if that's the case,
unless they trade for it.
Yeah, unless they trade for it. So if that's the case, then you need to stock up on talent. You need to stock up on using a top 10 pick to get a wide receiver that could be your top receiver for a decade. That's a great usage of that pick, as opposed to next year we're asking the same thing because you took a tackle at 9 or something. So we're obviously going to talk more about what the Chiefs should do with that number 9 pick in the first round there. But coming up next, me and Bink, we're going to give you our recap of our mock draft 3.0. You're listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
In a field of thousands, one has emerged. Back from the brink, now poised to take its rightful place amongst the greatest lawns of all time. It's the birth of a true turf champion, and a story that will live on at summer barbecues and in neighborhood group chats for all time. Your lawn is back, baby, and it's Weedman for the win. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get one free service.
Spring is here, and the first golf major of the season is here, and there's no better way than celebrate with our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel has your back with the special Mulligan Bet Back token this week in golf. Once the tournament gets going, you can turn any losing bet into a bonus bet for another try. Now you've got protection to take that sleeper pick, take a big chance, or make a bold prediction as we are celebrating the first major tournament of the golf season. Do you like somebody for a top 5 finish? Well, you can lock it in with confidence, because if it doesn't hit, you got that mulligan in your back pocket locked and ready to go. All you need to do is go to FanDuel.com/local to claim your special Mulligan Bet Back token. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLING.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If you miss being able to finish a road trip playlist on a road trip, we can help. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Tonight, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain showers, low around 54.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Back in here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
Talk Royals.
Is there a text on the Southland?
Not yet. I was getting ahead of the game.
And right now, it ain't the good time to talk to Royals. As they begin to clap the last couple days.
We made it all last episode without one Talk Royals. That was a miracle.
That's good. Well, I mean,
usually when I do draft specials, there is Talk Royals.
Yeah, generally when we do these specials, there's one text within the first 5 to 10 minutes. Talk Royals. What is this? Where's the Royals talk? Well,
I don't think anyone wants to hear it tonight after.
Oh no, nobody wants to hear it now when they can't score.
Tonight.
They can't
Nobody's
score.
about it.
It's not exciting right now.
No, not right now.
Not even Vern would probably talk Royals right now.
I mean,
Yeah,
Vern did early. He gets paid.
He got that out of the way.
Listen to Vern's post game today. It wasn't great.
He got that out of the way.
Oh, I'm sure. Was he pissed?
I mean, the fans calling
The fans were pissed. I know that.
Vern was basically like, because his whole thing this year is like, this year's the standard. That's his saying.
Right.
And he's like, look, I know you lost 10-2. I know Reagan's went out in the first inning. This team's too good to be losing like this.
Yeah,
And
they
I'm
are.
like, they are.
That's why I love best about Vern. He wears it on his sleeves.
He
man.
tells you how it is.
He does. That's why I absolutely love
when
hearing
Vern's pissed, he's pissed.
It's great,
I
too.
love it.
It's
I love it.
fantastic.
I love pissed Vern. Pissed Vern is one of the best versions of Vern we get.
Yeah.
The only better version is when he's hyped up because the Royals won a big game. And then he really he gets you hyped up and you're ready to go out there and get crazy out there in the stands. Yeah, that's the only time that is better than pissed off Vern.
I was seeing Vern at after the World Series win, going 24 straight hours. That was
that was ridiculous because I produced that. You were asleep
I was there with
in the studio, and I was over here mad because I wanted them to win it when I wasn't producing, so I could go and celebrate downtown with the players after if they would have won it here. So I was mad the whole night.
I was actually working on my top 25.
I know you were. I know you
right
were.
before I fell asleep.
I know you were. Out.
He goes, I'm going on last Saturday. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, you were passed out in the press box there.
And then there was me, 14 years old in high school, just watching it on TV.
I'll never forget that night because when half an hour or something, they took that Camaro that Salvador Perez won for MVP and they took it off the damn field. They were like, go, Royals, just leave.
Just get out of here, guys. We're tired of hearing you. So with on Monday, we did our mock draft 3.0. If you want to hear us do it live, you can listen to it right now on our Character Concerns podcast page. You can listen to that on the Odyssey app or wherever you choose to listen to podcasts. We appreciate your support. Make sure you download, subscribe, tell your friends about it as well. A little over 2 weeks until the draft, so we appreciate all of your patronage here. But I started with the top pick in the first round, 9 overall. We alternate every pick. We do this every time we do a mock draft.
A ton of arguments about this pick 9.
Yeah, no, actually, we did the Step Brothers thing. we said it at the same time.
Yeah, we did it.
And
like what was it? Velociraptor or something they said in Step
Yeah.
Brothers. Chris and I went 3, 2, 1.
Makai Lemon. So we
just became best friends.
We took USC wide receiver Makai Lemon at pick number 9 of the first round. Nothing has changed there. He is still my favorite receiver in this class. He's been my favorite receiver in this class since August. And to me, it's like everything that we saw during the season was an affirmation of his greatness. And, to me, I think he's a perfect fit. I think he's the best fit of any receiver in this class. The only receiver in the first round that at 9 that I can see the Chiefs like really meshing with and being a huge fit for them would be Jordan Tyson, but you got to think about the injuries with him. So to me, Makai Lemon is an easy pick. I know some people are, have some reservation about wide receiver, but to me, it's like you get Makai Lemon, you're getting an elite caliber wide receiver for the next at least 10 years. And I think you're feeling good about your wide receiver position as far as like drafting first round.
Well, Jordan Tyson is one of the receivers that sneaks into Chiefs picks. More than Lemon, actually.
Yeah.
Lemon's like 13, 14, 15. A lot of people have him. But the bottom line is, once the first round is over and you play a full year in the NFL, when you look back, where you putting Lemon then? You put him at 13, you put him at 7. Where you put him? He will move up once that. So if it's your guy, he fits your scheme, your quarterback's happy with him and wants him, you go ahead and grab him. You don't care where the consensus, the Mel Kipers of the world say you should be going. If you should go 5 slots ahead of it and you fit the team's fit, you do it. Jordan Tyson, I do like him playing. I love him when he plays, but he's had those lingering hamstring issues. Didn't even do anything at the combine, but the bench
he did
press,
those terrible bench reps.
He did that, but he's missed 18 out of 51 games. Availability is a problem with Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, that's a big concern. And here's my thing is like, if you did not have the injuries, I think there's a very good chance that Jordan Tyson is drafted ahead of Makai Lemon.
100%.
I think there's a very good chance he would be higher up. I think he would be probably the favorite to go at 9, if not for all the injuries.
Well, he's had the ACL way past that at this point. He's had the collarbone way past that. But the lingering hamstring issues that started bothering him last year and through the combine is what's currently the problem.
And you saw it on there was literally games where like he was playing with it, and after he'd make a catch, he'd limp around trying to get back into the huddle.
You don't need him going 9 for 130 and then being gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so that's the thing that scares me. We were talking about that with
great player though.
Chiefs
Don't get me
team
wrong.
reporter Matt McMullen last week, and he brought that up. That like the injuries kind of scare him with Tyson, but Tyson's
when he's playing, he's great.
He's great. He's awesome. He was he was the number 1 rated receiver in the early part of the season on most boards. And, he was generally going like top 5 in most mocks, or like top 7. And, then the injuries started popping up some more, and it affected his draft stock. And now I don't think because I think now he's starting to actually go back up some boards. But there was a time like a month ago where it looked like he might fall out of the first round based on especially after the combine. There was a time where, it looked like he might fall out of the first round. So.
Unless you're in a position where you have 3 or 4 good receivers and you can deal with a lingering issue, the Chiefs aren't in that position.
Right. If this was like a supplementary pick where it's like, hey, we're just going to draft best available and it just happens to be Jordan Tyson, but we've already got other receivers. Like if the Chiefs had, hit with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, and you were still sitting at 9 overall, and you were like, hey, he's best available, let's take him, then that would be a different story. But because you don't really have the luxury of missing with the top 10 pick, especially at that position, you probably need to go with the safer option there. At round 1, pick 29, who'd you take, Bink?
Zion Young. And Zion Young, the edge rusher out of Missouri, had a great Senior Bowl. It's just a great electric player whenever you see him play, getting to the quarterback. And again, into the first round type of guys. Yeah, a lot of people at this point, pictures, be anywhere between 32 and 40. Is this a guy you get at 40? I don't think you can. And more people start to see him moving up. And especially, with some of the interviews he's done, the Senior Bowl tape and stuff like that, he's starting to creep up at least to the beginning of the second round and maybe to the end of the first. So we go edge. I think the top 2 positions, the grab or wide receiver and edge, and we did both.
Yeah, and I like Zion. I think he's a great fit for what the Chiefs look for in their edge rushers. Matt McMullen had a great comp last week for Zion Young in Charles Omenihu. I think that's a perfect comp. I'm very, very disappointed in myself that I didn't think about that before because it was a great comp.
And Mekhi Lemons is Amon-Ra and St. Brown.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown or JSN or Puka Nacua have kind of been the ones I've seen a lot. But Amon-Ra St. Brown's like the strongest one because of the USC connection, and he models his game after St. Brown's game. But
which would not suck with Mahomes.
No, it wouldn't because he
yards after catch.
Yeah, and that's what Andy loves in his receivers, and it would be a great fit for him. But yeah, no, I agree with you on Zion Young. I think he is like a perfect fit. The only two guys I would have above him as far as like fits for what the Chiefs are really looking for are T.J. Parker and Keldrick Falk. But, you know,
they were gone.
They were gone. T.J. Parker might be there at 29, but he might not. And Keldrick Falk, I think, is almost assuredly gone in the top 20. So you're probably not going to get the option to get him. Zion Young really at that point would be the last fit that you could take at 29. So I'm cool with that. At round 2, pick 40, I took San Diego State cornerback Chris Johnson. I'm a huge fan of Chris Johnson. He's been one of my favorite, if not my favorite corner all year long. Right now, he is my favorite corner. I know a lot of people want like Mansour Delane. I know a lot of people are locked in on Avion Terrell as well. My issue with those guys is that Avion Terrell, not that fast. The 40 time, it was in the 4.6s, and you know certainly there's a lot of talk about him being hurt, but before the talk was that he was probably a mid 4.5 corner, and for him being a little bit smaller than what you normally would want on the outside at corner, for him to also not be that fast. Like 4.5 40, that's generally what you would expect from like the taller corners, not someone who is under 6 feet tall and, you know, probably in that 180, 190 range. You would expect him to be a little faster. And you know, just from that aspect, and then also you look at there's kind of holes in his game, tackling and whatnot, a little bit of holes in his game there. There's certainly some question marks about Avion Terrell. And then for Mansour Delane, he's probably going to go top 10, top 15. And I'm just not into taking Mansour Delane top 15, top 10, because I think you can go get a very good corner in Chris Johnson, who could be the best corner in this draft class.
I really like Chris Johnson as well. It's a scheme fit for Steve Spagnuolo, what he does. And again, it's scheme fits with guys, just like Mekhi Lemon, 502 yards after the catch. See, it's yards after the catch with him. It's Chris Johnson, his length and the things he can do. Is it too early for a corner? Well, the Chiefs have done really well in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, even the 7th round.
If you ask some people, they want them to take corner earlier than we took them.
Pick 40, probably in a good spot because Noah Williams ended up going in the 3rd round when the Chiefs made the trade to move 3rd round. A lot of remocks have Noah Williams actually going in the 1st round. I think when it's all said and done, Chris Johnson, whether he goes in the 2nd round like we have him here at pick 40, he gets redrafted in the 1st round.
And then the final one we'll talk about in this segment before we get to a break. Who did you take?
Michael Trigg,
round 3, pick 75. Well,
75. It was Michael Trigg, the tight end at Baylor. Got to work on the blocking. That's something there. But he's a weapon. He's a red zone weapon, and he can play H-back and do a lot of different things. He's a pass-catching option. But we had Max Clare before. Max Clare, I think, is a more refined tight end at this point. Michael Trigg, though, he can do a lot of different things. He can create space, and he's great in the red zone, but he gives you that extra target. Again, these are targets for Patrick Mahomes. And none of these guys are the answer to Kelsey.
No,
unless you get Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, and maybe that is the option that they go with as far as pass catcher goes. But I like Trigg. He's a guy, remember, at the beginning of the year, he was my first moneymaker of the season last year because of that game against Auburn. He went out there and he played his ass off. He was the best pass catcher in that game. And, I was like, hey, watch out for this dude. Like, he's not a blocker. Like, that's the one big issue with him is you're not lining him up in line.
He can be, but coaching-wise.
He's got the physical size and strength to do it.
If they go 12 personnel and would just air it out, that's your guy.
Yeah, he's more of a slot tight end. And
play H-back too. So.
And, yeah, you could put him at H-back. I hope that they would develop him as I would hope that they would develop him.
And yes, text line Eli Stowers was gone.
Eli Stowers was gone. I think it was the second round on there, so he wasn't available.
But some people are looking at Eli Stowers like a big wide receiver at this point.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Triggs being
there's
looked at.
multiple teams out there that are looking at more as a receiver than a tight end in Stowers. But I think in the same breath with like Trigg, you would look at him as a receiver more as a slot receiver than a tight end. And so in that case, you're getting yourself just a nice bigger target that you can throw to over the middle, and he's good after the catch. And with his size, he could be tough to tackle. So I like the pick a lot, and I think it makes him or Max Clare makes sense there. So coming up next, we're going to finish out the final 5 picks of our mock draft 3.0. You are listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
The world is coming to Kansas City. Is your parking lot ready? Over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, they want to make sure that your business is inviting, that it's safe, and that, of course, your project is cost-effective, because they want to make sure that you're ready and that your business is ready before the world comes here. That's all possible over at Gann, who can handle any type of project your parking lot would need. That's because they're one contractor, all things parking lot. Check out their projects at GannAsphalt.com or give them a call at 816-688-3512.
Forget what you think being a cop is. In Leavenworth, we're not robotic, no egos, just real people doing real work and loving it. You'll have a front row seat to action you can't script, and you'll do it with the latest high-tech tools in modern policing and technology that helps you do the job smarter and safer. It's real. It's not for everyone, but if you want in, come apply.
Leavenworth PD. We're different on purpose. Got questions? Give Sergeant Flynn a call and apply now at leavenworthks.gov/police. That's leavenworthks.gov/police.
Had enough of your sportsbook holding back on the rewards? Fanatic Sportsbook opens a lane to a world of exclusive perks. Use FanCash to step up your tunnel walk with authentic NBA jerseys and vintage fits. Be there for the biggest moments with game tickets and rub shoulders with NBA greats through meetups and Fanatics experiences. Make the switch and get access to a highlight reel of rewards with Fanatic Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-522-4700. MD, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Offer not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatic Sportsbook app.
My friends at Smokehouse Barbecue have 2 new items that you need to try. First, meet the Pickle Jack Sandwich. We're taking tender smoked ham and melted pepper jack cheese, piled high with our signature pickle fries. It's crunchy, spicy, and smoky as well. And if you need to warm up, how about some Smokehouse chili? It's not your average recipe. It's loaded with our famous chopped burnt ends and savory sausage. And don't forget carryout, which you can order at smokehousebbq.com. Visit Smokehouse Barbecue at Independence, Zona Rosa, and Gladstone. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Warmer weather, longer days, and a juicy steak sizzling on the fire. Ah, smells like grilling season is here. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. Choose bacon-wrapped chicken grillers for $3.99 each. Marinated chicken breasts, $1.99. Thick-cut pork chops, 3 for $5. And specialty brats, just 8 for $10. Don't forget your favorite marinade, rubs, and sauces, and fire up the grill this Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee makes our life easier every single day. Not only do they have great quality customer service and value every single day at Hy-Vee, they help us out and they take the pressure of shopping off our plate. We've got our Perks Plus membership. We upgraded from the regular Hy-Vee Perks membership because with Perks Plus, we get free grocery delivery or express pickup, plus even more exclusive benefits and savings like fuel saver deals all day long. So enroll today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Only at Hy-Vee.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Continuing our mock draft 3.0 talk here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. So in round 4, pick 109, we had most of our biggest needs checked off. Like I would say like receiver, edge, corner were like our biggest needs. We had to get those. Tight end, I think, was more of a secondary need. Don't have to, but if you like a guy when you're picking that's available there, you know, you feel like it's appropriate value, you take him. But this was more of another one that's a secondary need. Let's go get a guy that we like, that fits what the Chiefs look for, and definitely has some upside. So at round 4, pick 109, I took Demetrius Crownover, the right tackle for Texas A&M. First thing that pops off is the length. I think he's over 35-inch arms. Incredible arm length that he has.
A converted tight end. It was tight end, moved to tackle.
Yeah.
Still some refining to go, but a ton of potential.
Yeah,
that wingspan is out of the world.
Right. I mean, it's there's not very many guys. There in most classes, that's like top end arm length. And, you know, who was it? Darian Kennard. Remember in 22 they took Darian Kennard, who had the longest arms in his class. He was a tackle/guard out of Kentucky. And remember, we were doing that day 3 coverage here. And the Chiefs actually had to trade back up into the 6th round, I believe, so they could go get Kennard. And me and you looked at him, we were like, oh, they think they can turn him into a tackle. And so it's like, this will be another one where you're like, hey, this is kind of a project guy. Not going to be a guy that's going to be your starting right tackle in 26, but if you're able to develop him, if you're
like Asa Polle, Chuba Goddard, they like that.
You're getting someone that you could throw into the competition for the right tackle starting spot next year.
And I do think he's better than Wanya Morris.
Yeah. And a lot of people will probably compare him to Wanya Morris because of the size and, you know, because there's some holes in his game and whatnot. And I get that. But look, this is how the Chiefs like to try to fill that position. And, you know, I don't think they're going to use a really high pick to go get a right tackle. And I don't think they necessarily need to, because you can find good value elsewhere. And if you can find a guy like Crownover and put him in competition with Asa Polle and Chuba Goddard and see what you have with those guys and have a real good competition in 27,
yeah,
you save yourself a top pick, having to use a top pick on that position. So I like this move a lot. And it's certainly – being able to get him in round 4 was, I think, a really good value. So at round 5, pick 148. Who'd you take?
Went with Albert Regis, defensive line. So, again, 9 picks. We spent 5 of them on defense, 4 of them on the offensive side. But Albert Regis, a guy for that defensive line to take some snaps. A guy that can plug some holes. A guy that got the size. They can move him around. But he's, a good defensive lineman. I believe he'll have a good NFL career.
Yeah, and this thing is, like, you get some depth at your nose tackle spot. You get someone that could be a first, second down guy that can.
He's your zero for Tonga.
Yeah, like he's right behind Khyiris Tonga, and you have him basically kind of rotate with him and get some usage that way.
Because Tonga's only going to give you about 45% of snaps.
Right. So it's like, if you can get some more with him, that's awesome. You know, and you create a little rotation.
He's got that cannonball body, 6'1", about 320.
Yeah, he's got good size to him. him. He's very
slide
compact.
out to the 3.
Yeah, very strong. So I think it's a great fit there. In round 5, pick 169, I took Tyron Montgomery.
Second straight week?
Yeah, second straight time. The receiver from John Carroll University. I know a lot of people are a little bit out on him because he's a D3 guy. He is an incredible physical talent. And all you heard about when you watch highlights of him, because not a whole lot of tape.
He was SCS, by the way. But he transferred down.
Yeah. And then he transferred down to D3. But the thing about him is he's super talented. He's just never played at a super high level. So you're betting on upside with him. And at round 5, I don't think that's a bad bet.
119 catches, 1,500 yards last season. But the thing about Tyron is he got a chance at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
And
nobody heard of him.
To go against much, much better competition.
He was beating them.
And he was a standout.
I mean, he had this great, go and watch his highlights on YouTube. He had this great catch over my second round pick at pick 40, Chris Johnson. He mossed him in the end zone for a touchdown. It was a great play. And he was getting on top of all these guys when he was running those 9 routes.
Some guys benefit from going to the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl. This is one of them.
He's someone he should have been at the combine. It's disappointing he didn't get a combine invite. I'd love to see if there's any pro day numbers out on him, but he's an athlete, and so I think this is a great bet. At round 5, pick 176. Who'd you take, Ben?
Went Jacoby Thomas. It's a guy that early the season, before the season began, wasn't really on the radar of anybody. He was a starting safety for Miami. He was the one that bloodied Fernando Mendoza's chin early in the national title game. Had 5 interceptions on the year, 3.5 sacks. For the safety position, that's kind of what Spags would want. A guy you could put at nickel, a guy at safety. But again, the 5 interceptions, the guy's a ball hawk, great tackler, and he's got 3.5 sacks as well from a position that doesn't get sacks. But I mean, he was 6 sacks shy of Reuben Bain, so from the safety position.
He is someone that you could play in that slot nickelback position. He could be that star position if you want for the Chiefs. If because obviously we don't like Shamari Connor playing there. We don't want him playing in the slot. We don't want him playing up close to the line of scrimmage.
Michael Taff is there a lot, the safety from Texas.
Yeah,
but
that's another option too.
But this is safety starting in Miami, and he was a big part of why that defense was so
big
good.
Playmaker there. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this pick. And then finally at round 6, pick 210, I took Jaden Kennedy, the slot corner from Oregon. And this is about cornerback depth. Right now you have Kader Kohu, who's your presumed starting slot receiver, but coming off that knee injury. And it's only a 1-year deal. We don't even know if he's going to even be good coming off that injury.
Kennedy be a slot for you.
Kennedy is a slot guy. He's very good. He was very good in both man and zone coverage. He comes up very good in the run game to tackle on the outside. He's going to be a guy, I think, that is a really nice fit for what you're looking for. And size-wise, he's similar to like an Avion Terrell, similar to guys like that who are probably more like best suited in the slot. So that's our mock draft 3.0. Tell us what you think on the text line, the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. And coming up next, me and Bink, we're going to do our mock draft roundup for the week and get you filled in on who the national media has the Chiefs taken in the first round. This is the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here at 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel has your back with a special Mulligan bet back token this week in golf. Once the tournament starts, you can turn any losing bet into a bonus bet for another try. Now you've got protection to take that sleeper pick or make a bold prediction. Go to FanDuel.com/local to claim your special Mulligan bet back token. Perhaps you want to bet on Scotty Scheffler to lead after round 1. You could do that over at the tournament. Backing someone to win it all? Go for it. Like someone for a top 5 finish? Lock it in with confidence, because if it doesn't hit, you've got that Mulligan in your back pocket ready to go. Go to FanDuel.com/local to claim your special Mulligan bet back token. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and over in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Refund issued as a non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
For over 35 years, we've been protecting homes across Kansas City, one roof at a time. That's more than 3 decades, more than 35,000 roofs installed, and 35,000 happy customers. We're proud to be voted best roofing company in Johnson County and all of Kansas City. At Century Roofing, we don't just build roofs, we build trust that lasts for generations. Experience matters, reputation counts, and we stand behind every roof we install. Trust the pillars of strength with KC-based and female-owned. Century Roofing, KC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have 20 years of experience and service the KC metro area. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, also in commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or go to southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Final few minutes here of the first hour on our Character Concerns NFL Draft Special. Bink, let's do our mock draft roundup.
That's right. And by the way, 913-586-7965 is the text line. Send your questions in. Chris and I will address them at 8:30. So the top 25 mocks that recently came out, not the best ones, just the ones that recently came out. That
because some of these are terrible.
Fox,
some of these are bad.
Everybody. And there's a laughable one.
Yeah,
Ty Simpson showed up on one of them.
laughable ones. Yeah, I literally went and checked it.
Yeah.
I was like, did he put this in wrong?
Did. But Ty Simpson did
no,
show
it's
up.
for real, yeah.
So here's the breakdown of the positions. At pick 9, cornerback 9. 9 of the 25 selections were corners from today's list that came out. Of course, Mansour Delane was almost all those. 8 of the 9 was Mansour Delane. Edge, 7. There was a trade up for Bailey involved, but most of them were Ruben Bain. The odds on favorite Vegas-wise is to be that edge at 7. Offensive tackle 5, there's been some news that came out about Francis Mauigoa, who's been linked quite a bit because of minor back issues maybe that teams are looking into. Spencer Fano, that'll end up being moved to guard. But anyway, offensive tackle, there were 5.
You just said it like, yeah, he's going to get moved to guard.
2 safeties.
I agree, but yeah.
2 safeties. One was Caleb Downs. One was Dylan Thieneman.
Yeah.
So there was
Nick
2
Wright. Nick Wright had them taking Thieneman to 29.
Wide receivers, 2. Only 2 out of 25 were wide receivers, and that was
at pick 9. At pick 9. At pick 29, it was actually 8 receivers that were taken.
Cornerbacks were 8, offensive tackles 4, wide receivers 8, tied cornerback for the biggest position. So a lot of people are going corner/edge at number 9. They're going 29 wide receiver, and if they don't have a wide receiver, they're going corner at that position. It's amazing seeing all the mocks without a wide receiver at any of the picks, which is crazy. Who's Mahomes going to throw? It shows the respect for Mahomes.
There was one mock that had Mekhi Lemon 9 and had Ty Simpson 29. Yeah. And it was funny because if you go and you actually read the mock, he said, "Oh, this isn't going to happen."
Yeah.
Which is like, well, why would you even put it
it's
on
not
the
gonna
mock?
And they brought in Justin Fields. So 2 safeties, 1 edge. That's it. 1 edge at 29. 1 defensive lineman ended up being Caleb Banks. And then there was another one. I want to say, was it Pete Prisco that put that one out? That had them taking Caden Proctor at 9 overall. And then he was like, well, actually, it wasn't Pete Prisco, it was Nate Davis, I think. And he was like, well, they'll figure it out. They got Josh Simmons. He played right tackle Prisco
when he was
had
in college.
Delane, but he had Mekhi Lemon
at 29, which is that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Like unless a Laramie Tunsil situation happens, it's not going to happen.
It was just funny seeing the combinations of no receivers.
Yeah.
Again, it's that respect from Mahomes, but again, who's he going to throw to?
Yeah. I mean, I like I said,
I think that Rashee Rice news did hit impact.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I agree with you. I think it did build some more confidence that some people had. But I mean, obviously 29, we saw more receiver picks than we saw last week. So certainly a shift there, but seems like a lot less right tackle than we've seen before. Because remember, it was 2 weeks ago, right tackle was the top rated, the highest odds position for the Chiefs to take it at number 9 overall. So clearly there's some sort of change and shift in how people are thinking now. A lot of people now are going edge or corner at 9 overall. So coming up next, we're going to bring on Thor Nystrom to talk NFL draft here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Price Chopper supermarkets and McKeever's markets.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. TurboTax, free edition only, roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. How this is taxes.
Love that jam. Up next, commercials.
Intuit TurboTax free edition. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. Don't miss the deadline. File by 4/15. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Now's the time to complete that painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. Whether it's interior or exterior, you'll never have to wonder what's next. They provide reliable updates because they know how important your home is to you. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood prediction markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood prediction markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Hey, it's Matt Strom, and this is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back, Jay Binkley, Chris Nocero, Jackson Ogden producing the operation. We're now joined by Thor Nystrom of Score North. All of our draft guests are brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, from wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. What's going on, Thor? This is tradition to talk to you before the draft, my friend. How are you?
Always good to talk to you, boys. I'm doing great.
You're doing great. Do you like this draft, first of all, Thor? Because I know you've dived into this. You've watched the film. Just your overall thoughts on the 26 draft. Of course, we don't know the ending as of this point, but maybe you like 27 better, like we do? Or is 26 a draft you like?
Yeah, no, 2027 I much prefer. This draft class, I would give this draft class maybe like a letter grade of like a D+. I don't think it's the worst draft class we've had the last decade, but it is certainly down. And you never know till the end of the day. But yeah, just heading into a draft, that the high-end talent certainly is not there or doesn't appear to be there. And then the depth of this thing falls off a little bit quicker as well as in recent years.
I'm curious, Thor, because Brett Veach, GM of the Chiefs, said that they had about 100 guys on their board. That shrunk down to about 75 when everybody goes back for name, image, and likeness. So you take 25 names off that, guys that are going back to school that you normally would have seen join the draft. Jordan Schultz put something out earlier, on Twitter. We're just going to see a ton of trades in this draft. Do you fall in line with that there's not really that guy that you want to go trade up for? Because that's my only question. Like, yes, are we going to see trades, or is there really that person in the top 10 that people really want? Because I don't see that game changer in the top 10 people could trade up for.
I had the exact same reaction to Jordan's report that you did. I think it's interesting that he's hearing that, and certainly we have had more trades of draft picks 2026 in advance of the draft than we usually get. I think last year, I don't know if we had a first-round pick that was traded prior to the day of round one, and then a couple were traded, but this year we already have several that have moved hands. But when the draft itself begins, like you mentioned, there has to be an impetus for a team to move up. And with the high end talent of this thing dropping off pretty quickly, that's what you wonder about. Who are going to be those guys that sort of incentivize you to trade? And then the other thing is this draft this year is different in terms of valuing future picks, because the 2027 draft, like you're sort of mentioning, it's one of those like crown jewel of every 6-8 year kind of drafts, and everybody knows it. So you're going to be valuing those picks more than you typically do the next year draft. And then the picks this year, I think most would agree, are worth less than a typical year. So are we going to get the same kind of trades of like, I'll trade out of the 4th round right now, but I want your 3rd round pick next year? I don't know if anyone is going to give you the typical round overage. So I'm really interested to see the price of 2027 picks as well, and if that also artificially suppresses trades in a couple weeks.
So one of the things I find interesting is that there's still some positions that have like pretty good overall depth. Which position do you think is the deepest that you might see some teams maneuvering up to try to go and maybe grab one of the last few there? But, we're talking about probably like middle of the draft, 4th, 5th round or so, because there's good depth that goes that far.
I like linebacker and corner, and I also like wide receiver, maybe not to the exact same extent, but I do think that there's depth in that. And then if you're talking through like early day 3, I would definitely toss safety onto that as well. I don't want to take a safety late in this draft, but if you can get one the first 3+ rounds, I think it's deep in terms of that. Those are the ones, if you're shopping for one of those positions, you can wait a bit. Some of these other positions, tight end is another one. I forgot tight end, but I would toss tight end out there. And even center, I think, is another one that you could toss out that's a little bit sneaky. But those positions a little bit deeper. Some of these other ones, they fall off quicker. Interior defensive line, I don't want any part of that group once you get past like the 4th round. But some of these other positions, you can wait and potentially get a quality player.
To go along with that, Thor, I'm curious. There's only 2 questions that I think are really pertinent. One's to GMs and one's to draft analysts. And the GMs would be, how many first-round grades do you have on guys actually? Is it 14? We're talking 12. Have you heard anything where GMs are kind of leaning to actual first-round grades?
It's way less. Like if you're, people have different thresholds for this, and some people in my industry, they do like their threshold since they don't, have a specific team that they're overseeing with specific needs. And, we wouldn't take, past this guy. We wouldn't take any of these guys with this selection we have because of those parameters. But we sometimes think of it in order to kind of give ourselves those parameters of like, they would have to have been a 1st round pick in the last 5 draft classes, right? Like that's a pretty high burden that you have to reach for that. And if you're doing that, this class, it's like 12 or so, right? I mean, like it falls off real quick where you're like, yeah, that dude for sure would have been a 1st round pick in every single class going back. So that's when we speak to the thing falling off quickly, that's exactly what we're pointing at.
Yeah, and to follow up Chris's question there too, Thor, I'm always curious at 29, do you consider you can get a better edge at 29 or receiver? You said you like the wide receivers. We could see 6 actually in this first round. The record's 7. We could see 6. But at 29, where the Chiefs would pick their 2nd pick at 29, so the end of the first round, do you think a edge can be just as good as some of the early on edges, or do you think wide receiver is better at 29 than earlier?
Yeah, if you're doing like the 3-dimensional chess thing of like, would you prefer these two guys at this position and that position, or these 2 guys, right? Like if we take this one first, what would the other one look like? It's hard to know in advance. I think you're going to have a much better idea as the Chiefs when you go up to the clock for your first pick. For instance, one of the things that we can watch for with that is, does Ruben Bain fall because of the concerns about the arm? The arms, I think that's one thing to watch out for there. That could have a domino effect as well, pushing the edges down a little bit more. With receivers, that's the thing that you'll know by the time of your pick. with receivers, almost assuredly Carnell Tate will be off the board. It will be interesting if a second one has gone off. And we won't. Jordan Tyson, I think, is going to have a lot to say with where, how the first round of receivers ends up shaking out. I'm very curious to see how early he ends up going. But if I'm the Chiefs, I kind of gauge it there. But from where I'm sitting, I would probably go. It's just totally dependent on if Bain is there, because we know that Reese and Bailey are not going to be in. I don't want to take Falk and Parker with your first pick, so I would probably go receiver if it was like that.
So, two-part question here: who is your first round pick that you feel the strongest about will be a great player in the league, and who is your under the radar player that you don't hear people talking about much that you feel very strongly about?
I would say Francisco Mauigoa, I think is way up there for me with the highest floor in this class. Like a lot of people would toss all for instance, Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, but I don't think enough people talk about Mauigoa. He more, when you talk about his profile, he gets nitpicked for the things he isn't. And you get that over with in 2 or 3. He's not a left tackle. But he's going to be a fabulous right tackle in the NFL. Ballyhooed 5-star recruit. He's a mutant of an athlete, and he was a high-end right tackle at Miami right from the day he stepped on campus and till he left as a dominant player. So that would be someone that I would toss out for that. As far as the other question, I mean, I could almost give you a guide every position, but at the receiver position, since you just asked about that, one of the guys that I'm higher on than consensus is Ted Hurst from Georgia State.
Chiefs like him too. They brought him in for a visit.
Oh, I think he would be a really good fit with the Chiefs. I really like his game. You have the downfield thing of a receiver who's 6'4", 210 pounds with 99th percentile size adjusted athleticism, and a guy who was dominant last year in essentially a hopeless situation at Georgia State. The only reason that people don't know Ted Hurst's name is because he spent his first 2 years of college at Valdosta State, and then he spent the end of his career at Georgia State, which was one of the worst programs we had in the FBS. But all you had to do was get the ball in the area code of Ted Hurst, and he was going to come down with it. Is 6'4", very long arms, distended catch radius. He's going to beat you downtown. And then the thing that I like that differentiates him for me from some of these other boundary receivers that can also win downtown is he's more fortified with the frame. He has more play strength, up there at 210 pounds. But he's also good enough in the route breaks, pliable enough with the hip sink going into route breaks, coming out of it, efficiency of footwork to be able to win separation at the route break, which allows him to win in the intermediate sector as well. So you basically have in Ted Hurst a guy where you're going to get the possession receiver stuff from him. You're also going to get the element of beating the defense down the field. So to me, that's a guy that profiles as a high-end wide receiver 2 in the NFL.
Great stuff, Thor. Great stuff. We always like talking to you right around the draft. Is there something you're working on now? You have your top 100 coming out or anything? What are you working on?
My next thing is, so I'm finalizing my position rankings right now, which I've been putting up on this new Substack that I just started, which you can find if you type in my Twitter handle on there, just ThorKU on Substack. But been finalizing the position rankings, and on Tuesday is when I release my annual Thor 500 big board, my top 500 players in the class with 500 player comps. So it's always kind of a journey to get there.
It's a lot of comps.
But we are very close.
Thor, great stuff, my friend. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you guys.
There you go. Big thanks to Thor Nystrom for joining us. All our draft guests are brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Lunch.
Ted Hurst makes a lot of sense. Ted Hurst is definitely a guy.
Had over 1,000 yards last year, big body.
He was really good at the Senior Bowl as well. Probably one of the top 3-4 receivers there. Obviously, Tyron Montgomery and I can't remember who the other guy was. It Denzel Boston, I think it was, that were kind of killing it there and like fighting for the top spot as far as
Chiefs brought in Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lindman, Ted Hurst.
Yep, and we heard about that. We've heard about receivers showing up there for Matt McMullen.
He is a razor.
We did hear about that. But, yeah, Ted Hurst is definitely a guy that I could definitely see being a fit for the Chiefs. More of an outside guy. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is what I've heard is, like, probably the most accurate comp based on the tape I've seen for him. And, it's like you hope that he can really kind of take advantage of those physical tools that he has and develop into an actual, NFL starting wide receiver. Thor brought up him being like a high-end number 2. That would be great. Obviously, you want a number 1, but if the Chiefs decided they wanted to double up at wide receiver and go get someone who's a high-end number 2, then you would know that you've got your receiving core set for the next decade or so. Ideally, unless you don't want to pay a number 2.
Not sure if he's made his way to Arrowhead yet, but he is, I think, going to be Oscar Delp, Kevin Coleman, Chris Johnson, Caleb Banks, Caden Proctor, Cornell Tate, Mekhi Lemon. And
a lot of good names. A lot of names that me and you would like for them to draft.
And Ted Hurst, at least at some point, is supposed to. Don't know when.
So coming up next, me and Bink are going to go through some player comps that we found and see just how accurate we think these are. You're listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here at 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
You know that weird smell your AC makes when you turn it on? Ooh, you really shouldn't. Luckily, you can just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Welcome back. Wouldn't be one of our draft specials without our next guest, Jay Binkley with Chris Unocero, Jackson Ogden, producing the operation. We're joined now by Ron Kopp of Arrowhead Pride, who went to the Shrine Bowl as well. All our draft guests brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. 2 weeks, 1 day, NFL Draft 2026 in Pittsburgh. We'll have Cody in gold out in Pittsburgh. We'll be at the Brooksider doing our draft party. Ron, you've been down to the Shrine Bowl. You've been busy doing player profiles. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to take a little bit of a breather.
Hold on a second. We gotta turn your mic up. Yeah, just turn them all up, Jackson.
Yeah, just hit them all. Just do it like last
There you
time.
are. There you
Hit 'em
are.
all.
There you are. We
There
got you.
We got you loud and clear,
Yes,
Ron.
no, I appreciate y'all having me. And I was gonna say I'm more editing the draft profiles this year than writing them up too
Yeah.
much. But we got plenty of them, and at Arrowhead Pride, and it's gonna be a big draft. We got 3 top 40 picks, 4 top 75 picks. I mean, I'm excited. I'm fired up.
We are fired up. All right, let's sit here. Let's go. Let's start with this first. All right, so you're looking at needs they have. Obviously, they got the running back situation taken care of. Jeremiah Love was dominating 14 of 25 mocks. I mean, he was just dominating all mocks. We're having the Chiefs go Love. All right, that's out of the equation. I hope. So,
I will be so. I will be like you were last year with Josh Simmons. If they take him at 9,
so
I'll be like that this year.
You got wide receiver, edge, the 2 most popular at this point, in corner. I think those 3 positions right there are the most popular. Do you fall in line with that? In what order, Ron?
He just pulled out a notebook.
Is there somebody? There's another position you're saying no. I like this one better. I like the offensive tackle better than corner. What are you putting? Because Chris and I have wide receiver and edge as far as 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would actually go edge probably first, but it's just when you think about who is at edge at number 9, it's a limited selection, right? It feels like it's going to be Ruben Bain or nothing. When you think about David Bailey probably going before that potentially, and then I don't believe like a guy like Keldrick Falk would be worth the 9th pick, and I hope that's not where the Chiefs go in that direction. He just feels like a really developmental, type player where I feel like he will have a long career. Keldrick Falk from Auburn. I feel like he will be like a long-time NFL player. I just really don't see like a high ceiling on him, especially in the Chiefs defense. He feels like more of a 3-4 guy, honestly.
Do you see 10 sacks from anybody this year? It's a rookie.
Bain could do it. Absolutely.
He didn't in college.
Bain could absolutely do. He was sure close.
He had 9.5.
His freshman year, he was an absolute savage.
7.5, I think.
Yeah, and of course, as time went on, that's
3.5 the next year.
Akeem Messidor goes off last year because of Bain was a pretty dominant player and got a lot of attention and still had a dominant career or season, I should say,
or vice versa.
Year. In the playoffs. Oh, I would say but that's
Bink
why.
Bink is a Ruben Bain truther.
Yeah, no,
he is a Ruben. He does not like Ruben Bain. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Ruben Bain either, but I do not think I dislike Ruben Bain as much as Bink does.
Well, here's my only thing with him. He had 3.5 sacks the year before, 9.5 last year. Akeem Messidor actually led Miami in sacks.
Yes,
and not only that, he had 9.5. The safety, Jacoby Thomas, had 3.5. So where's the attention being paid? It's not the short arms. And everybody's like, it's the short arms that's bothering you. Well, it would be the shortest arms drafted in the first round in 27 years. That's almost a 3-decade sample size for that. And leverage going against elite tackles does make a difference. And if you look at Dane Brugler and any of these other guys, these draft guides with the edge, but that's not my main concern, Ron. My main concern is this, and we'll see where you fall with it. So out of 319 players that went to the combine, only six did all the drills. All right, a lot of guys skipped the 40. David Bailey did not. Carnell Tate did not. Jeremiah Love did not. Reuben Bain did. He's not hurt. He didn't do it. Okay, he's going to run his pro day. I understand he didn't run at the combine. What's his pro day score? He failed to run it. I'm just saying that's a red flag. What are you hiding?
That's fair.
The other big name that decided not to run at the combine in a pro day, it doesn't happen that much. Somebody that at least runs their pro day. Marvin Harrison Jr. And everybody said the same thing. Go watch the tape. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a stud. Go watch the tape. Go watch the game film. But here's the thing. What was Marvin Harrison hiding? He's played 2 years in the NFL, never has caught the ball 63 times in a year, never has over 900 yards.
See what I'm saying?
Did Marvin Harrison Jr. hide something because he decided not to run at the combine or pro day?
A wide receiver
I'm just
much
saying.
different than a defensive end when it comes to the 40 time, Jay. I mean,
not a speed rusher.
No. But when you talk about leverage, you mentioned leverage, as a pass rusher. He has that because of his unique body type. I think one thing with
he is extremely strong.
One thing with the defensive linemen in historical, you talk about the arm length. I just don't think there have been a lot of NFL defensive linemen with short arms. You've seen a lot of NFL offensive linemen with short arms that just get moved to guard or just don't work out. There literally just hasn't been many examples of a guy with this short of arms.
They get moved the defensive line.
Yeah, but if you look at the mock draftable database, there's like 3 guys ever. Like it's not like you're looking at a long list of guys that just didn't work out. It's just he's just a unique outlier. He's 6'2".
So is it worth a top 10 pick on an outlier or an asterisk?
Right, and that's the thing. That's totally fair, and that's what they need to evaluate. In my opinion, when I look at him, he's an outlier in terms of it's in a good way where you're talking about the leverage, dude. He's 6'2". He's always going to have that lower pad level. He's always going to come in kind of being able to go low to high with his hands, and be able to naturally, be able to dip under. He has the flexibility, the ankle flexibility to actually turn the corner, and he has the kind of the stoutness, or I guess to always be playing with that low center of gravity, always be playing stout. I mean, he's a powerful run defender. He's a young player. He's only been in college for 3 years, so he's only going to get more physically developed and stronger. So. To me, he's an outlier in a good way. You don't see a lot of defensive linemen this short, and it actually gives him a natural advantage that many guys that are 6'4", 6'5" maybe don't have. Sitting low, kind of again playing with that low center of gravity and always having the leverage positioning. Right, he will naturally always have leverage if he's 6'2", and a lot of NFL offensive tackles do not deal with guys.
He was listed at 6'3", 275, which made him more acclimated to move the inside. Yeah. However. He's 6'2", 263.
Yeah, he's not an inside player. I never understood that.
No.
I think that was maybe people, projecting
because they thought he was bigger than what he was.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But like when you watch, he's just a defensive end. That is he's just a really unique player where he's powerful, but he's also has that corner turning ability or that ability. He has the He has the hand fighting, right? Where he understands he can keep using his.
I love his toughness.
No, and he has counter moves. He has he uses the hump move. The old Reggie White move. I mean, he knows what to do when it comes to pass rushing. But he's also just an overall really stout, strong defender. Where it's just so easy to see him fitting with the Chiefs. But I also feel like, man, you put him with Chris Jones. I just feel like them two are a really fun duo together. In a pass rush. So that's where I see it being the top. Choice in my opinion, at 9.
So I get where you're coming from as far as like the outlier aspect. As a run defender, I think he's incredible. Like I think he's going to be one of those guys that makes a lot of game-changing plays because he has incredible awareness, incredible football IQ. Right. He knows what the offense is doing, and he knows exactly where he needs to go to make a play. The problem I have, though, I do think the arm length matters, and I do think it shows up on tape, especially because whenever he gets into a position where he cannot go speed to power and get in on a guy's chest quick enough, they're able to keep him at bay. And there's a lot of times where he does try to power rush and he gets stood straight up. You know, you talked about the pad level. He does naturally have a better pad level than most tackles are going to have, but there's a lot of times where he gets stood straight up against power when he tries to power rush. And that concerns me. But also, I do think the length issue can show up when he tries to tackle too. He has a lot of almost tackles, a lot of almost sacks, and he gets a ton of pressure. But the thing that scares the hell out of me with Ruben Bain is that he ends up being another George Karlaftis type, where it's a whole lot of pressures, not a whole lot of sacks. And we know that, like, if you're just generating pressure and that's it, there's only so much you're going to do to affect, like, the elite quarterback.
Yeah, my concern is week 3 through week 8, he had a half sack.
Yeah, and so I'm concerned.
He had 4 out of 5 games, he didn't even make a tackle.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, he shows up, and then he plays, he disappears.
Yeah.
He goes on the back of the milk carton.
So that's the thing that concerns me is, like, what is his peak as a pass rusher? As a run defender, I have no question about him. As a playmaker, I have no question about him. It's just, what's the top end as a pass rusher? Is it George Karlaftis, what he's doing right now, which is like, you know, top end, maybe 10 sacks a year? Is that worth taking top 10? Or do we bet on traits and see if we could develop someone who has the ability to be an elite pass rusher, even if right now he has to be a little bit more of a project than what you normally get? And I do agree with you. I don't know if I would take that guy at 9.
Yeah.
I would look at 29. Because I think at 9 you could get someone that is a little bit more of a sure thing.
I mean, I like the guy. 9 is just, there's too many outliers.
If the Chiefs were picking like 15, 16, 17, I'd feel a lot better about Ruben.
Because they need the player to work. That's my only concern.
Exactly. No,
and
100%.
I'm not so sure, and I love these late first-round edges. I don't know where you sit with them, like the Gabe Jackas, the Zion Youngs. You'd be reaching on probably a Jackas, somebody like that. But Zion Young.
Akis.
Yeah,
Akis. I try to help him out. I try to help him out here.
Jackas, whatever.
Is Akis.
No, I do think that's where with the whole defensive line class in general, even the defensive tackle class, I do like that 29-40 range, right? I mean, you talk about guys like Zion Young, TJ Parker from Clemson at defensive end, both guys that just are easy fits into what the Chiefs do at defensive end. But then you look in the interior, Caden McDonald from Ohio State. I love the idea of him at 29. Peter Woods from Clemson is someone that's interesting, maybe not the greatest fit, but someone that I think would be, you know, a playmaker. But
a lot of questions about Peter.
But then
Woods.
but then I guess it's really the nose tackle types, right? Like the Kristen Millers, the Lee Hunters, and then the Caden McDonalds. Like I said, like those are the guys. Yeah. Those are the guys that you can see fitting next to Chris, being 3-down players. You know, that's what I'm excited about getting from this class is maybe one of those. And then the defensive end room it's just Bain. I do think Bain's another level of what else you can get in this class. But yeah, even at 40, you have like a Malachi Lawrence type, you know, maybe who needs to maybe develop into his body a little bit. I saw him at the Shrine Bowl. I didn't necessarily think he was much of a defensive end type. He feels more of like a stand-up outside linebacker.
Yeah.
But he does have the frame, right? He has the body type. He has the arm length. He has all that. So maybe he builds onto that a little more and becomes, you know, really a juicy pass rusher for you while also having the length stuff you have. So
hold that thought, Ron. We hold that thought. We need to take a timeout. Let's finish up the edges. I do want to switch to wide receiver with you as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll do it when we come back on the Character Concerns Draft Special.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Kansas City metro area Hy-Vee locations and all Walgreens.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? Call Jay Southland Tow Service, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments. They can do it all. Be in the know and call Jay's Southland Tow.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special. Night 2 of this. Jay Binkley, Chris Unocero, Jackson Ogden producing the operation, and Ron Kopp from AP sitting in studio with us talking draft. We talked a lot about the edges there. Let's switch gears to wide receiver. What's that?
Just one edge, really.
Yeah, we just spent the whole time talking trash on Ruben Bain.
Well, we talked about Gabe Jackas for just a second.
Oh yeah, Bink was right. Bink looked it up on the Beast, right? It was the Beast, and it's Jackas. It is. So I was wrong.
YouTube can be a great friend, but these announcers get it wrong all the time.
YouTube. Yeah, I generally what I do is I look for a pronunciation from that player.
Or reporters talking.
Yeah, I usually do an interview.
They're going to talk to PR first.
Usually it's like a team interview.
Yeah.
It's like a team reporter that talks to them, and they're going to get the name right because they're the team reporter.
Yep.
So that's usually what I.
So wide receivers at 9, and here's the one thing. Thor was talking kind of being a deeper wide receiver. That a lot of people look at, maybe there's guys that can help a team, maybe not pure wide receiver 1, some wide receiver 2s. Some have 6 guys, wide receivers. It depends on when the run actually being drafted. 7's the record, 04 in 2024. So that's pretty close to the record on it, but you look at these names and you're like, well, there's still a lot of uncertainty with a lot of names. Somebody's going to shine, though. That's the way it always works. Someone's going to stand out and be the next JSN. Somebody's going to stand out who went, 22nd in the NFL and led the NFL in receiving this year. Puka had more catches than anybody. He was a 5th-round pick, so someone's going to come out of this thing. But is there a receiver like Carnell Tate's interesting?
Yeah.
Did play with Jeremiah Smith, did play with Max Clare on that offense, so there was less footballs to go around if people were looking at his production. But a great route runner. He and Lemon probably the best route runners in the draft, the best hands in the draft. He didn't drop anything. Carnell Tate had 0 drops. Makai Lemon only had 3 in his whole college career.
Yeah, Makai's got good hands.
So Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, Jordan Tyson, obviously that's a name linked to the Chiefs a lot. I will say he's missed 18 out of 51 games. So, and I know people say, well, he's got the ACL, that was years ago, got the clavicle, that's years ago. Yeah, but the hamstring is still bothering him. That's why he didn't compete at the combine.
Yeah, no, the hamstring issue still lingering that hard or that long is never a good sign. So Tyson's someone to me that's just kind of, unfortunately, you just kind of maybe disregard at 9 just because of that. Honestly, when we talk about the number 9 pick, it has to be someone, and that's why we didn't even talk about when we talk about Bain. Like someone like Caleb Downs is also someone I'm excited about with the 9th pick. But if we're not going to go with one of those defensive playmakers, it has to be receiver. I don't think there's any other offensive position that is worth taking at the 9th pick. My thing is, Carnell Tate feels like you have to trade up for him. I do think it feels like he's going to go before you pick at number 9. So if they are in on Carnell Tate, which I love the idea of how he fits with what they usually have or what they do have at the offensive skill positions, right? Where Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, guys that are going to work underneath or work middle of the field. Xavier Worthy, also obviously a deep threat, but Carnell Tate is that downfield X receiver that just really fits perfectly into what they already have. But it's not what they usually invest in at the receiver position, right? It's not necessarily the type of receiver they usually employ. So would they go with the Makai Lemon, who is exactly the type of receiver they usually employ? I mean, he kind of looks like what Rashee Rice brought to the offense. Just someone you can get the ball in his hands and trust is going to get the most of the yards after catch, but also just someone that's going to be maybe a little hard to tackle right away. I don't love the idea of him kind of being a redundant skill set to what they already have. And so, yeah, I'd love to see them be aggressive and get Carnell Tate, right? Because I don't think they can sit at 9 if they really want him. And they might have to get up to 6 or 7 to get him just because Cleveland, Washington, they could supply something for Jaden Daniels. So
New Orleans could be on it too.
Right. No, honestly. So I think they have to move up for Tate, but if they did, I would love that just because it shows that.
What's his over-under, 6.5, something like that?
Yeah, he's actually favored to go at 6 right now by the odds, FanDuel Sportsbook.
How do you feel about Jordan Tyson? Because Tyson's one of those guys, like, the tape is awesome.
Exactly.
It's incredible. But you worry about the injuries, and that's really like the only thing everyone's worried about is the injuries. But like, minus the injuries, how would you feel with him stacked up against like Makai Lemon and Carnell Tate?
Yeah, I actually would like him on the field the most out of all 3 of them for the Chiefs. I just feel like he is the exact type of like one-on-one separator that the team needs, right? Like he's kind of where he's kind of big enough, strong enough to separate, with I guess strength, but also he has the athleticism, the quickness. He's kind of has it both, right? Where I feel like Tate maybe struggles a little bit to separate, in terms of like he's going to catch more with the contested catches, in traffic. Like you're going to trust him more in those situations. But the Chiefs haven't shown that they like to do that, or Mahomes loves to, work in those situations. Mm-hmm. So I do think Tyson is almost on the field like the receiver you really do want. It just feels like he really has that shiftiness. He's got the athleticism profile. His brother is in the freaking NBA. So I think he on the field is exactly what the Chiefs need. And so that is where it's just the injury concern. I totally get why he's not even maybe in the question at 9 just because of that.
That's the thing about, because like I actually agree with you. I think he's probably a better fit than even a Makai Lemon if he's healthy.
Yeah.
Because size, because of what he does after the catch, but also because of the fact like he has great catch radius, but also he's incredible at making these acrobatic catches.
Yeah, no, he get downfield.
Not that he would have to worry about having to make acrobatic catches when you've got Mahomes because he's going to put on the money. But there were a lot of times where Levitt wouldn't put it in the right spot.
Yeah.
And he would have to go and reach back to go get it, or, kind of make a play in the air.
He had
to
over
go
500 yards after contact.
Yeah.
Lemon did.
Yeah.
Yak is big time with him.
No, with Tyson, though, I think the thing that stands out to me is just how he has an ability at the top of his routes or when he's route breaking to just truly, get corners shaken. I mean, I saw, was it the, oh man, I wish I knew what game it was. He drew like 3 or 4 pass interferences just from, getting a guy to kind of, freeze, and all of a sudden he gets past him and the guy's
Notre Dame?
grabbing his jersey. So it might have been. It was a Big 12 game, I believe. Arizona State, Texas Tech. It was a Texas Tech game. So all that to say, yeah, Tyson's just kind of the best of. He's kind of an overall receiver. Where you talk about with the Chiefs, they want someone.
About Tyson.
With Tyson,
yeah, we're talking about Jordan Tyson.
The Chiefs want someone that can literally be X, Z, slot, anything, right? That's their main goal, and it just feels like he's the closest thing to that that they can get, where he's pretty much the best of all worlds at the receiver position.
Yeah. So Bink has made this talk a lot about, we got that first tier of receivers, the Tate, the Lemon, the Tyson kind of, maybe he drops a little bit to the second tier.
Yeah.
But I consider him first tier.
You're right.
But then you got that second tier. You're talking about the Casey Concepcion, your Chris Brazzell, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr. If you had your dream scenario, are you going first tier at 9, or are you going second tier at 29?
Man, that's a tough question. I honestly would rather just go the first tier. I do like the idea of Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon, honestly, compared to just throwing in one of these, one of the guys that they could get at 29 or 40. Just because, like we've said, the 9th pick does need to be a swing, right? It does need to be someone that is going to be an impactful player for the Chiefs. It cannot be, someone that's at, it has to be some. And the receiver position is needing someone, that can be a playmaker. So I think if they go with 9 receiver, it's going to be someone that's going to be a star, a big part of the offense. And I don't necessarily think that's as sure of a case if you go 29 or 40. So I like the first tier receivers, and if not, then you can wait on it a little bit, in my opinion.
We'll take a timeout. Coming back, new wide receiver coach with the Kansas City Chiefs. Will this make a difference? Andy Reid, his history with first-round wide receivers, will that make a difference this year? We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
You know what scared Kathy more than surgery? Giving up her active life, turning down opportunities to do the things she loves.
I found myself saying, no, I don't want to do that because of pain. It was really limiting my activities in every way.
And then came the diagnosis.
You need 2 full knee replacements. I don't have time for a double knee replacement, and I don't like pain, so no.
But that's not how her story ends. She tried something different, QC Kinetics. It was cutting edge, but natural and much easier on her body, with thousands of patient success stories.
I went to QC Kinetics. Within a couple of weeks, I was absolutely pain-free, no pain. I feel fantastic. Too much life to live, and I want to stay in motion as long as I possibly can.
Don't let pain decide what you say yes or no to. Live your best life. They'll make sure of it at QC Kinetics, starting with a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
You love your land. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love all the great deals. With versatile compact tractors, professional-grade mowers, and durable utility vehicles, Kubota equipment can help you turn dream projects into reality. Kubota Orange Days is here, and so are the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, get select compact tractors with 0% financing available or save up to $5,500. Sale ends soon. Go to KubotaOrangeDays.com or stop by your local dealer for more information.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Game night's fun until someone spends 5 minutes lining up one shot. Chalk, breathe, re-chalk. Still aiming. While they figure it out, I fire up Chumba Casino. I can spin anywhere, anytime, and there's always a new social casino game every week. Spins happen way faster than that shot. Play now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Let's Chumba. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121. If you miss being able to finish a road trip playlist on a road trip, we can help. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Welcome back, 96.5 The Fan. Jay Binkley, Chris Unocero, Jackson Ogden producing, and Ron Kopp from AP talking draft with us. Our draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here or wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. Is the X factor, in your opinion, Chad O'Shea coming here, wide receiver coach, someone's done it in the NFL, much different than Connor Embry being the wide receiver coach? Andy Reid, sure, Deshaun Jackson, good rookie year. Xavier Worthy had to step up, get those 59 catches because of injuries to Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice. He had to step up. Does that make a difference? Because Andy Reid, old dog, new tricks. He will have to change his philosophy. Chris and I definitely want a wide receiver. However, like you said, you got to be utilized.
Yeah.
You can't be just sitting back. Can't be Jalen Royals not even really playing until the end of the year.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes a difference. Chad O'Shea, I mean, the experience he has, who he's worked with, kind of, even when you just hear kind of what he values or how he attacks the coaching job, where he's talking about, you know, these detailed scouting reports each game, you know, kind of working with the quarterback and the receiver on, you know, each matchup, like, you know, and he was such a red zone guy with New England. He was kind of their lead red zone coach or kind of game planner. I think it makes a huge difference. And when you think about a guy like Xavier Worthy, he's been coached up by a guy like Connor Embry the last couple of years, and we just haven't gotten the most out of him, obviously. It just feels like this is exactly how to make sure, or how to, you know, evaluate Xavier Worthy for the rest of his career. I mean, if we're going to know what we got with Xavier Worthy now, right? I mean, there's just no question that, you know, if it doesn't work out with a guy like this, you know, coaching him up, then we know that, you know, it wasn't going to work out. So I'm excited to see him progress. You know, I think he's definitely been, his talent hasn't been tapped into as much, and I think a coach could definitely tap into.
We talked about this at the beginning of the show, about Rashee Rice not being suspended for now, unless he does something else. And we obviously think that Chad O'Shea could have an impact on him because first 5 games he came back from his suspension, he was awesome. He was one of the best receivers. I think maybe during this stretch he might have been the best receiver in football during those 5 games. And then after that, completely fell apart. Did not have the kind of production he had before. How do you think O'Shea, like what kind of impact do you think O'Shea could have on him and helping him develop his game? Because, obviously this is a big year for him, contract year. He stated that he wants to be back with this team for the long term. So, like, what do you think a potential option would be as far as a long-term extension go, and how likely do you think it would be?
I don't think it's very likely, to be honest with you. But at the same time, we could get to that point, right? Because Rashee Rice is that talented. He is someone that you want in the Chiefs offense. I mean, you can see how he fits in the Chiefs offense. And to your point, I think he's a really good zone beater, right? He has a really good feel for getting in between defenders, being available to Mahomes, catching, turning upfield. What he needs to work on is beating man coverage, right? And so Chad O'Shea is someone that when you listen to the interview he has with Mitch Holthus and Matt McMullen on the Chiefs website, he believes that he can improve people's ability to win contested catches or win in kind of those traffic areas where maybe, like a guy like Rashee Rice, he isn't getting the separation that we want at the receiver position, maybe downfield or when he's just one-on-one. But Chad O'Shea believes he can improve, how how successful you are in those situations, throwing up the contested catches or throwing downfield, in one-on-one situations. That's what Rice needs to work on. So I'm curious to see. We haven't really seen Rice's downfield ability. It's come here or there, right? That one Bengals long touchdown a couple of years ago comes to mind, but he just needs to be better at beating man coverage. And Chad O'Shea sounds like he's got the plan to do so.
But it'll take some work because, again, they didn't do free agent wide receivers. It's going to be the guys in-house. They have to get ready.
Yeah.
And then after this year, if Rice, commands big money and wants to go elsewhere, you have Xavier Worthy under contract and Tyquan Thornton for one more year if they decide to keep him there. And then Kelsey's probably gone too. So you're losing a lot of receiving production if you don't have an emphasis on this 2026 draft. When 27 comes around, either that or you're going to be spending big money on a receiver coming in. Hold that thought. We have Ron Kopp talking draft in here with us now from AP. Cornerback. Cornerback is a very popular selection. Chris and I did the mock draft rundown. That is the most popular pick for the Kansas City Chiefs at 9. Ron shaking his head.
He's not happy. He's not happy about that pick at all. He was not happy.
We might agree on this.
I agree, and we will have some agreement on this.
But we will discuss corners next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still. You're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, never with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship, because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
The Fans Draft Party is Thursday, April 23rd at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
That's right. A lot of draft coverage coming up. Jay Binkley, Chris Inocero, Jackson Ogden producing the operation. Ron Kopp from AP in the studio with us here. We've got another draft special next week. Then Wednesday night of the draft, the night before the draft, a 3-hour special. Got a 6-hour special live from the Brooksider. Anybody can come down to that. And, of course, Chris and I have coverage on Saturday as well. Sunday, a wrap-up, and then a wrap-up show on Monday.
It's like 19, almost 20 hours of coverage starting that
be
Wednesday.
Really busy.
But draft coverage at 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here or wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. So we did the mock draft, 9 picks. Total for the Chiefs, of course. 5 were defense, 4 offense. The corner we went was Chris Johnson at pick 40. This is a guy that
he nodded his head. He nodded his head. That's my guy. That's my guy.
Well, we both like Chris Johnson,
but that's my guy still. That was my guy.
He's over 6 foot. He's a good tackler. He wraps up, brings it to the ground. Good tackler. He's a guy, Chris Johnson. A lot of people like what he can bring to the table. Ran a 4.4 at the combine, but obviously it's been a top pick for the Chiefs. We did the mock draft roundup, and 8 of the top 25. Pick 9 were corner. Most of that was Mansour Delane. Jermod McCoy obviously went to White House, where Patrick Mahomes went in high school. Didn't play last year with injury. He'll be a first-rounder this year. Colton Hood out of Tennessee. Again, 2 Tennessee corners will be in the first round this year. So corner is pretty deep. Thor said it's one of his deepest positions. I agree. I think corner is extremely deep. Now, do the Chiefs make a move on corner when edge and wide receiver, we all kind of like those positions when they've had success with the Jalen Watson in the 7th, with a L'Jarius Sneed in the 4th round? I mean, do they have to go out and get a corner in the first round, or can they wait? We waited till the 2nd round with Chris Johnson.
No, I actually made this point for the site this week with the Kyrie Elam signing. I think it's just kind of a way to show how the Chiefs attack the cornerback position. When you're talking about a guy that plays just outside cornerback for the Chiefs, with like who has been in their rotation of like being a starter or being a significant player for them, it has never been someone that has been drafted in the first 2 days of the draft or anyone that's been signed to any sort of worth of contract. It's always McDuffie's McDuffie's the exception, but he's more of a slot defender type, right? So I'm not including him in that. When you're talking about guys that are just playing the outside cornerback position, the Chiefs have not shown that they're going to feel like they need to invest more than a day 3 pick, than, a one-off, 1 year veteran like a Bashad Breeland, like a Mike Hughes, like now a Kyrie Elam. And so that's what I kind of think about when I look at the draft is if you're not getting a guy that you feel like can make a difference in the slot as well as play that outside cornerback position, I'm not going to expect the Chiefs to be attacking that position until day 3. I really am not. I don't see them, using a pick when they have so many needs, up front. They have multiple needs in the defensive line. They need a defensive end and a defensive tackle. They need multiple spots
Which
there.
Which does help corner.
Right, exactly. And I guess that's another point too, is they have clearly shown that maybe they're having maybe a tougher time developing the defensive line than the cornerback position. And so you want to take your swings at the talented defensive linemen and then trust that Dave Merritt, Spags are going to get the most out of your cornerbacks. And that's where, when you talk about the defensive backfield, I would much rather take a safety high, with the 29, 40. I mean, Caleb Downs even at 9 is exciting to me, but there are guys at 29 and 40 that are exciting too. I would rather take the safety high than take a corner higher than 74 or later.
Who are some of your corners that you like?
In the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you think about in that kind of 29-40 range, Chris Johnson was definitely someone that pops out.
My guy.
Right, but then Brandon Cease from South Carolina is interesting too.
Oh, Cease, yeah.
He's a little risky, though.
He's riskier, undefined, but
he needs a lot of coaching.
Physical.
Needs a lot of
And I'm always looking for physicality when I'm looking at cornerbacks, just in terms of, we know it's hard to cover, right?
Yes.
Coverage is almost impossible to be consistent at in the NFL. So, like,
hit or miss. Great in man, which is very risky to do, but he's great in man.
Yeah, but you can't, like, you have to be able to bank on the guys that are physical. That's what Spags wants. He wants cornerbacks to be able to play the run, be able to be physical in that way, take on blocks strong. I mean, that's the best cornerbacks in Chiefs' recent history have been those physical types like L'Jarius Sneed. McDuffie is even, that answer, even though
Noah Williams, he was very physical this past year.
Right. So no, I think the list, when you get kind of closer to that 74 range, there are even guys like, Dalen Everett from Georgia.
Right.
Davison Igbenison from Ohio
You
State.
had it right. You're good. Igbenison. You got it right.
Igbenison is the guy that we actually mocked before.
We've
Ohio
mocked
State.
him, yeah.
He has a lot of penalties. That's been his issue, but he did kind of eradicate that by his last year.
And he plays pretty well in zone too, and he comes up and tackles
But
pretty well.
I like
for the
David
most part.
Igbenison.
And I almost, you almost want to
now that Ohio State's on the table.
Yeah.
That's it. We opened up a full new school now because once Josh Simmons is picked, Ohio State is open
Veach
for
had never
business.
taken one until last year.
Ohio State open for business.
No, but to your point about the penalties, I mean, wouldn't you rather have a guy that you kind of need to, like work on not, instead of being a guy that you need to work on getting more physical, being more aggressive. So those are the kind of cornerbacks you have to look for. But again, I really feel like the Chiefs have a reputation to be developing and make, a guy like Jalen Watson's a perfect example, but they even got the most out of Joshua Williams for a few years. He fizzled out, but I mean, at one point he was someone you could play.
Because he was going to battle that with Jalen Watson, and Jalen Watson won the battle.
Exactly.
But Josh Williams being a 4th-round pick, they had a lot of
He was a guy that
him.
they were hoping was going to be like a long-term starter for them.
Yeah,
because they because he had incredible measurables there, 6'3" and over 200 pounds.
Small school guy.
Yeah, small school HBCU guy, and he went out there and he showed some, and he did get some play early in that 22 season, but as you brought up, Jalen Watson overtook him and won that
was the
spot on
competition
outside.
between those two.
Oh yeah. And that was obviously like a great corner draft there. But, this is one of those drafts I think where you could probably get, an outside guy and a slot guy, and you can add to your depth for what you have. You can have a couple of guys that you developed this year. And then, when Christian Fulton's gone, when Kader Kohu's gone, if you don't bring them back.
And Kohu is brought in for the slot.
Yeah. And you get those guys. And then now you're going to have your replacements on the outside, replacement in the slot. And then next year, if you feel, in that really good 27 draft, you can go get another corner and you can set yourself up for a few years because you're going to have some depth now. Like, that's, to me, like dream scenario at corner.
Yeah, no, I honestly think cornerbacks kind of getting where like even linebacker is something I'm a little interested in picking high over corner. I just feel like they've proven it so well that they don't have to invest, a high or a lot of draft capital. And I think you got to take advantage of those. You don't have that in every position, or that's not something you can bank on as a team. But clearly this team knows how to, get the most out of guys. So use that ability to develop and don't waste a pick when you have these, needs at so many other positions. I mean, even tight end, right? If they were to get like an Oscar Delp at pick 74,
maybe was it 109 or maybe 148?
Hey, I'd love that.
But Oscar Delp
74 for Delp.
But it's just, I just think I think cornerback is so low on the list to me of a pick I want to use. And with these 4 top 74 picks, I would just much rather.
But they're so
spread it out.
They're so safety dominated. You think about. In 2019, there was a deal. Who are they going to go get? Who are they going to grab? And then, boom, the news came out that the Honey Badger was coming to Kansas City. And that did shift what they do. I mean, he was very valuable for this team in the beginning. He did a lot of things. And that versatility, I think there's a few guys that kind of change positions, how people look at him, and I think he's one of them. Being a safety, they could play in the nickel. He could play slot. Look at Kyle Hamilton from the Ravens. He plays safety. He played edge this year. He played off-ball linebacker, played everything. But that's what a good safety will do. Will do a lot of different things. And I know people have been looking at Caleb Downs like a Kyle Hamilton. But there's a difference because Kyle Hamilton's 4 inches taller.
Yeah.
And much more physical and a bigger guy. But Caleb is interesting to me because look at what Justin Reed meant to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I mean, look
exactly.
at how they value this. And they bring in Gilman. And I love that pickup the Chiefs did in free agency, bringing Alohi Gilman to this equation. Jaden Hicks, I thought was on the right trajectory. He did take a step back, to be honest with you. But there is safeties. Bud Clark, I like out of TCU. Jacoby Thomas is the guy that we mocked out of Miami.
Jacoby Thomas is someone that I think really fits well with how they already have their safety room built.
Yeah, I mean, 5 picks and he had 3.5
Like
sacks.
Gilman,
I mean, the guys is everything.
Gilman's that free safety type, right? He's going to
Kind
be
of a Shamari Connor.
over the top. You have Jaden Hicks, who honestly I think is looking good over the top, right? As more of that free safety type.
He looks better deep than he does,
Right,
close, which is not what we thought.
Exactly.
They drafted him.
But then a guy like Jacoby Thomas, you put him around the line of scrimmage in the box, and he's just going to make plays. I've really been thinking about him. I like him as a mock pick for sure.
It's a good fit, but honestly, the way they value the safety position and how it's kind of changed, safeties you can do a lot of stuff for.
Yeah, exactly.
You can play nickel corner. They can be.
And Spags is one of
They
the.
can get to the quarterback. You can put them on the edge. You trust them at linebacker in nickel situations.
And that's
so they
what we
come
want.
out and play backer and tackle.
That's where with the idea of downs. I mean, if you think about it, and to your point, since Spags has been the defensive coordinator in Kansas City, we've always had that safety, kind of that chess piece, right? Tyrann Mathieu right away, Justin Reed right after Tyrann Mathieu departed. Last year, they didn't necessarily make sure they had that. Maybe they thought it was going to emerge in Jaden Hicks. Brian Cook obviously became a guy worth a big free agent contract, but I don't think he was that guy. He was more of just a quality free safety. I think they left themselves the ability to still get that huge contract that the Reed and the Matthews signed in Kansas City. I think it makes a lot of sense for Downs to be plugged in. And I do think it's a one way for that 9th pick to feel like they definitely got a surefire thing, because I don't see how Downs comes in and isn't an impact player in this defense. I think Spags is maybe the defensive coordinator that can use him best out of anyone in the NFL. Like it might be the best fit in Kansas City.
I think he might end up being the best first rounder. The guy had a touchdown and a punt returner at Alabama and at Ohio State. He only returned 10. So the guy makes the best out of what he's doing. But that's the voice of Ron Kopp talking draft with us. Don't forget 913-586-7965. We'll address your Chiefs draft questions coming up
on the text line. Do not call. Text line.
Text line. Text. Jay Southland Tow Service text line. 913-586-7965. I will give you Chris Unacero's cell phone.
I will fight you, Bing. You do not give my phone number out. I do not want to talk to people on the phone.
The hotline. We'll be right back.
No, you're the hotline guy.
I'm the hotline.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Welcome back. Character Concerns Draft Special. Jay Binkley, Chris Unocero, Jackson Ogden producing the operation. Ron Cotton from AP sitting right in here with us. Dude's all about the draft. This dude doing some fantastic work. We went to the Shrine Bowl. He's dealing with us.
How did you get around Dallas? Because there was a big ice storm.
It was the ice storm.
Yeah, we weren't there for very long.
I'm sure because it was iced over.
Yeah, we were there for the first practice, the 2 media sessions we got, and then we actually hightailed out of there.
You were there for one day.
I'm not going to get. Yeah, no, I didn't want to get stuck down there. We didn't know if the practices were going to keep going. No, I know, but it was a good experience. We got to talk to a lot of players.
Who's your favorite down there? I'm just curious.
Honestly, I'll tell you, tight end Bauer Sharp from LSU. I really like how he has this foundation of blocking. He's a really strong blocker. He takes it seriously. He's got really good technique. Like, he's got really sound. He keeps his hands tight, his elbows tucked, drives his for getting open, and
all tight ends.
Athletic.
Like
I know, right? It is true. It is true.
Very true.
I like how he has this. I want the Chiefs to get a tight end that is going to be a difference maker in the blocking game, and so he's someone that stands out to me as a day 3 pick. Someone that's going to come in and be a sound blocker.
He catches well. That's just perfect.
Yeah. Just do it all.
Okay, so let's play a little game here. We kind of did this with Thor Nystrom in the last hour. Name one guy who is first round guy that you're really, really high on. Like you will die on a hill for this player. And then name somebody that's a later round guy that you are ready to go out there and sing their praises because you feel like they're being a little underappreciated. I mean, and you do it too, Bing.
Yeah.
So I think I know who your guys are.
I mean, it's between
We've
Bain
had
and
some unusual ones.
It's between Bain and Downs for me. I know Jay doesn't want to hear that, but I mean,
no,
it's between Bain and Downs.
It's fine. It's fine. It's your opinion.
It's your opinion. No opinion's wrong.
I would
Because
say-
Ruben Bain could end up being a stud. Who
Unless
cares?
you're trying to make a case for the Chiefs taking a tackle at 9. Then you're wrong.
No.
Yeah. Spencer Fano at 9, you're wrong.
Caleb Downs is some. It just feels like, and it's almost like so boring to think about him as
I
the
just
pick.
said I think he might be the best in the draft.
We have stated multiple times we think he's probably the best player in the
Right,
draft.
exactly. And so it's just like that's just easy to me. Like it's just that's he has to be. I just feel like every other position we are talking about 9 is like like there's something to maybe be hesitant about. There's nothing to be hesitant about with him, in my opinion. You go a little later in the draft. Think about guys that the Chiefs could. Again, the positions, right? The positions that they get the most out of, that defensive back position, cornerbacks maybe, right, that are later in the draft. There's a guy that I saw at the Shrine Bowl, looked a lot like Travarius Ward to me. Vanderbilt, Keith Taylor, I believe. Oh, was it his name? Oh shoot, I might not have that right. But yeah, he just has this. He's like 6'4", super long. Colby Taylor, excuse me, Colby Taylor, 6'3", 191, ran a 4.4. Oh shoot, excuse me, I read that wrong. 4.63 actually, so not the fastest dude, but 34-inch arms, almost a 81-inch wingspan. Someone that I saw at the Shrine Bowl that definitely just looked the part of, like, you could see him being that like Travarius Ward type, or just that long corner that the Chiefs like to put on the outside. That's a day 3 pick, someone that you don't even think about before the draft. So I'll give you that guy as my sleeper.
We'll call it the Ben Sinnott pick.
The Ben Sinnott pick,
3 years ago out of K-State with Washington.
Yeah, that was a guy that we really liked, and he ended up being drafted before the Chiefs could have. What was it, like the 3rd round? I think he ended up going, and we were sitting there like, hey, you should get a tight end, Chiefs. And they ended up missing out on it, but unfortunately for Hunter Luepke. Hunter Luepke,
Yeah.
the fullback, you loved Luepke.
So it's kind of the Hunter Luepke / Ben Sinnott award.
That position is interesting though, because the guy like Jaron Kanik from Oklahoma is definitely that like little kind of hybrid. We saw him at the
H-back,
Shrine Bowl.
fullback type.
He's trying to model his game after Kyle Juszczyk. That's what he told us.
Tonga can do it too, man. You can put it in the backfield too.
Yeah, we do have a fullback. You're right. We signed a fullback.
So who's your 2, Bink?
The one I really like is, obviously, I'm not going to argue with you with Caleb, but Mekhi Lemon that quickly became and it was early on. Chris liked him at the beginning of the year. I really started liking him in October, and you start watching everything he does, and I love the fit that he could be, and I love the fact he doesn't drop passes. Just 3 in his last 175, only 1 per year. That would be in the first round, a guy that I would go to bat for. And Jacoby Thomas, obviously the safety at Miami that gets hardly any respect. I mean, wasn't even on a lot of draft things at safety. Probably going to go in the 3rd round. But again, he was the guy that was kind of that heart and soul of that Miami Hurricanes defense.
Yeah.
5 picks, 3.5 sacks. They used him everywhere. But that's my Ben Sinnott, Hunter Luepke Award winner this year.
So my guy, you took my guy, Mekhi Lemon.
So I'm the same guy.
I'm gonna have to go different. I gotta do different. TJ Parker, the edge rusher from Clemson. Right. I've been very high on him all year long. He has, we always say this is a Spags guy. TJ Parker is a Spags guy from a size standpoint, length standpoint, style of play standpoint. Everything he does is something you can envision Spags incorporating into that position at the opposite edge from Karlaftis. And, he was considered by some to be the top-rated edge rusher in the class going into the year. It was kind of a battle between him, Keldrick Falk, Ruben Bain, and, Arvell Reese kind of slowly climbed up the boards as the season went along. But, I was very, very high on TJ Parker. I had him right behind Keldrick Falk, because Falk was my top guy going into the year.
I think people are sleeping. I think he's right after Baileys and Baines.
Oh, me too. I think he's a lot better, but he also needs a lot of work. There's a lot more work he has to do to tap into his potential, because he didn't really quite do that this year. And I think part of that's Auburn's fault, because nobody on that team did it. Same thing with Clemson. I mean, nobody on Clemson really lived up to their potential. But I look at what he can do. and I look at how Spags would use him, and I think like Spags could get a lot out of him. Colin could get a lot out of him. As far as later round guy that I'm really high on, Tyron Montgomery, the John Carroll University kid. He was arguably the best receiver at the Senior Bowl. But he mossed Chris Johnson in the practices, and I was like, oh, okay.
You felt like torn
This
between
dude's
two
for real.
lovers.
He was stacking on top of these corners every time he went deep. Like he's got the body type you like, 6'1", 190. He's got burst. He's very physical at the catch point. He's not one of these guys. Like he's got all of the talent. The question you have is, can he play at an NFL level? Because he was playing Division II, FCS Division II, Division III talent, and you're looking at someone who has not played anywhere near the kind of talent that he would have to go up against in the NFL. And so that's going to be a big adjustment. We talked about, what was it, a couple years ago when the Chiefs drafted Kingsley Suamataia, and about how he was really, really good when they were Mountain West. And then when they moved to the Big 12, those holes in his game started popping up when he moved over to left.
When he switched from right to left.
Yeah, when he switched to right to left. And he was really good on the right side when he was playing Mountain West. Then they go to they were independent. And then he goes over to the left side when they joined the Big 12, and all of a sudden you start seeing some big holes in his game. You start seeing him get pushed back. You start seeing him getting beat around the edge. And it's like, okay, this competition level at edge rusher is definitely different for him. And he had to move inside, and he had a really good year last year. But, like the competition level is a big concern for me with Tyron. But where you would take him, he would most likely be able to adjust, I think, and be a project guy. And maybe he turns into a decent wide receiver. Maybe he turns into a great one with the physical talent he has. But, I think he's a good lottery pick late in the draft.
Well, it's good to take more than one dart. The Chiefs just had this history of taking one dart for a wide receiver and said, Jacoby Thomas I went with because that's in day 3 pick. That's towards the end. Now, had it been a second-round type guy, any round, it would have been Christian Miller. This dude, if you've seen his personality, people love talking to Christian Miller.
He's got a personality.
Oh, he's going to be all over media when he's done. But plays nose, can play 3. He slid out, played some 5 technique, played some 7. But it's a totally versatile guy. You can have the defensive line. I think Spags would really fit in with what Christian Miller does. But he will be, I think, a early second-round pick.
Another guy I like, Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle from Tech. Like, he really impressed me throughout the year, but especially like that Oregon game, man. He was just on one, and you could just see it. You could see like the way that he was able to dominate in the in the run game, where like he was out here TFL territory the whole game, and especially when you watch him like Senior Bowl too, when he was getting one-on-one pass rush reps. You see the potential. His pad level sometimes is too high, too low. And that's going to be an issue if he doesn't fix it. It kind of reminds me of like Deion Walker last year from Kentucky, the defensive tackle, where it was like he's 6'7", and sometimes he gets stood straight up because his pad level's bad. But if he can get that fixed, and he kind of like Walker kind of fixed that last year with the Bills. If Hunter can fix that and keep a good pad level, he's gonna be unblockable in one-on-one situations.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about the idea. I feel like every draft I go in, I'm like, how do the Chiefs find a nose tackle type that can play next to Chris on first down, second downs, and then even potentially still play on third down, right? Or just kind of be a 3-down type, even if Spags maybe has his own pass rush packages for certain third downs. And it just feels like this draft is full of them, especially towards the top. And Lee Hunter is definitely someone that's exciting. Has the personality a little bit too. That'd be fun. But
yeah,
man, I think Caden McDonald's probably my favorite option. And if he may not even get to 29, to be honest with you,
he might not.
Yeah, but he is someone that I feel like he's the top pick for me as someone that's going in next to Chris. For the foreseeable future, for the rest of his career, probably, right? Chris's career. But you like Christian Miller more than
absolutely because the way he moves around and all that. Coming up next, 913-586-7965, the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. We'll address your Chiefs draft-related questions next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Sex, intimacy, love. These three things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at select Walmart Supercenters and select neighborhood markets.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have 20 years of experience and service the KC metro area. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, also in commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or go to southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
Look, we all have those moments where we have to say no. No to a round of golf, no to a long walk, or even just no to getting out of the chair because your knees or your back aren't cooperating. But as we head into vacation season, think about the people waiting for you to say yes. Your family, your friends, they want the real you back, the one who isn't sidelined by chronic pain. I want to help you turn that corner. At QC Kinetics, they specialize in regenerative treatments that get you back in the game without surgery or without endless recovery months. Be honest with yourself for a second. Does joint pain keep you up at night? Are you at the end of your rope leaning on daily meds just to get through a shift at work? If you're nodding your head, you're exactly who QC Kinetics helps every single day. The best part, it's done right in their office with no downtime. So call them today for that free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. They're located off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Save $10 on a pair of Bosch Focus wiper blades. Our professional parts people will even install them for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Welcome back. Character Concerns NFL Draft Special. Jay Binkley, Chris Unocero, Jackson Ogden producing the operation. Ron Kopp from AP sitting in here for your Chiefs-related draft questions. Speaking of that, doing the hotline.
Hotline Bing.
Hotline 2 hours, 12 to noon. On the 20th and 21st, I agreed to do it. I'll be sitting in an office by a phone and was just.
So you're sitting there with an actual landline answering this, or is it gonna be like over the internet?
No, I talked to a landline with it. It's gonna be a lot of.
You're
I
gonna
hate
be
that pick.
picking-
I hate
you're
that
gonna be-
pick. I hate that
It's
pick.
probably gonna be
I
a
was
whole
gonna say,
lot of
how
hate
many
that
people
pick.
can say Ruben Bain at 9 before you hang? You just stop doing it.
Well,
At some point, you're just gonna have to say no and then hang up, and then wait for the next person to ask about Ruben Bain.
Oh, Makai Lemon, of course. Let's talk Makai Lemon.
There will be somebody that, oh yeah, they should take Makai. But most of the people are like, why don't you like Ruben Bain? Like, why don't you? His short arms don't matter. Why don't you like Ruben Bain?
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that.
Yeah.
Where are the quarterbacks at?
So let's get to our Chiefs draft questions that are submitted by our listeners on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. First one from the 816. If you take Tate or Lemon at 9, who's your starting corners? Who's your edge? I think you draft up for one of the top 2 edges in this draft. Obviously, we know you like Ruben Bain. Bink, you do not like Ruben Bain.
It's if there are certain things that were guaranteed, if you run a 40, if we had a little more length on the arms.
Bink is not happy that he didn't do
I'm just
anything.
saying. I'm just saying.
He is not happy that he didn't do anything. No 40.
I prefer, if it's a top 10 pick, to go with more of a sure thing. Not that anybody in the top 10 is a sure thing, to be honest with you, because that happens a lot. But I wanted to go, hey, you play poker, you go with the odds.
I just feel like Bain's more of a sure thing than David Bailey. To me.
Oh, I don't want David Bailey at all. Like David Bailey's not a fit for the defense at all. He's probably better standing up than he is in a 3-point stance. Like
T.J. Parker,
he doesn't
Zion
look. He doesn't
Youngs.
look comfortable in a 3-point stance.
I think the later round 29 guys just as good as that first crop of edge rushers.
Yeah, no,
and I wouldn't be shocked at all if they were more productive.
That is a fair point for sure. That maybe I don't see a drop off maybe as hard from tier 1 to tier 2 for sure. I'm with you on that.
From the 816, is Eli Stowers gone at 40?
I don't think so.
I do not think he's gone at 40.
Yeah, I think he'd be there.
But I do not think you could get him at 75.
I think he's
or
available.
74.
He's a tremendous pass catcher. And keep in mind, when he played at New Mexico State, he played there with Diego Pavia. They were awesome there. They transferred both
Hopefully
of
he's not taking agent advice from
it just wasn't Diego that transferred to Vanderbilt. So did Eli Stowers. And Eli Stowers became a great player. But he's a little bit undersized. The height not, but the weight-wise at the tight end position. But there are a lot of rumors about NFL teams making him a larger receiver.
Right. Yeah, it feels like he's like a very specific. I don't think he's a fit with the Chiefs, but I do think there's an offense out
But
there.
he should still be there.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I would say so. But there's going to be an offense. If he goes to the right place, he could be a star. But if he goes to the wrong place, he could also get kind of, lost in the mix, I think. So
I think he would fit if they just used him the way they use Kelsey now as just a slot tight end.
Right.
If he played in line, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to be a good in line because he cannot. He can block DBs.
Yeah.
He can't block linebackers or linemen, but yeah, he can absolutely block DBs. It's just like
red zone threat, yes.
Yeah, he's a good red zone threat, and I think he'd be good over the middle. The problem is just you can only use him out wide, and I'm not really interested at using a second-round pick on a tight end that can't play on the line. Because, Sadiq can, but Sadiq's probably best lined up as like an H-back or lined up wide, but he can play. He's got the upside of being able to play in line.
You can see it, yeah.
Yeah, he's got
It's
the
just he's
physical.
not.
He just hasn't developed that yet.
Right.
I don't think Stowers will ever develop that.
No, actually, with Sadiq, I will say, like, you could, like, I like his, like, foundation as a blocker. I feel like he has good technique, like, and kind of gets to himself into a good point. You can just tell he's not as strong as some of the guys he goes up against.
Yeah, and sometimes those edge rushers they toss him down.
Yeah,
They
no, I
toss
know,
him
right?
down. And that's the frustrating thing about watching his tape is like incredible athleticism. He will put everything out there to make catches sometimes, like flies in the air. But like you see him block and like no problem with DBs, generally no problem with linebackers, but sometimes they're real strong.
Right.
Well,
and then edge rushers, they toss him.
Eli's weird. When he first went, he was 215 pounds, 6'4", 250.
No,
he played at Texas A&M. He went as a tight end. Then he was a quarterback. Then he got moved to quarterback, transferred to New Mexico State after that. ended up at Vanderbilt. So 3 schools in 3 different positions till he kind of found the position for him. So he hasn't been a tight end. He went to college as a tight end, but then got moved to quarterback. You see it go the reverse way a lot.
Right.
You see a lot of quarterbacks move to tight end, not vice versa.
Flip it around.
So from 816, is there a scenario where all your edge and receiver top guys are gone and the Chiefs end up selecting Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State?
That's interesting, and that could happen. I do think that I do think a receiver will still be there. I don't think Lemon will be gone at that point. I think that'll still be an option on the table. Ruben Bain is the Vegas odds for the 9th pick. So is there a chance there? Caleb would make it incredibly difficult for the team, like cognitive dissonance, because you think of this team, and you don't want to sit there in a year or two going, we could have had Caleb Downs. It's like all those things. We could have had Kyle Hamilton. We could have had a game changer for this team. Is this going to be a perennial all-pro? Could be. You don't want to be looking back saying, this is why you want your team set. This is why a lot of GMs want their team set so that way they can go into the draft and get the best player available. That's not a joke when they say that. It's true. Get the best player available. And he would fall in that category as best when they did their board of players and top players.
Exactly.
He's probably near the top.
He's probably best player available at pick 1. But
That's a safety. That's the big difference.
And that's the problem.
And I get the contract thing, right? Like there is something to the fact that like if you draft a safety top 10, you're already paying him like one of the best safeties in the entire NFL, and like there is something to consider there.
Yeah.
And you look at the history of the safety position. The most recent guys like Kyle Hamilton dropped to 14. Even Derwin James a few years ago, he was all the way, I think, at 10 or so. They don't go very high. I mean, the last time that they went was, an Eric Berry or, I'm forgetting Sean Taylor maybe way back then. So
yeah, Sean Taylor, Eric Berry.
It does feel like Downs is going to be on the board for the Chiefs. I feel like.
I think there was a top 10. It wasn't Mark Barron or something.
No,
it was a top 10 safety.
Here's where Caleb Downs could actually help the Chiefs if that's not a direction they wanted to go. If another team sitting there in the teens really wanted Caleb Downs, Kansas City wouldn't be a huge trade because you'd only be going 4 or 5 spots. But if they would give him the first rounder and then another rounder, maybe even possibly 2027 pick, Caleb Downs could be a piece. Same with Jeremiah Love, I believe, even though I think he's going to be taken. But if he's still there, that would be a piece. Think about pieces. Is there people be willing to trade up for the Chiefs? Now, Ty Simpson, that would be a dream. But he's doing these private workouts for people because people would trade up for a quarterback. But you want to look at a guy like Caleb, and if he's still sitting there, and there's a team just head over heels in love with drafting Caleb Downs, and they see him sliding, and the Chiefs are sitting there at 9, and the Chiefs take some phone calls like, how bad do you want this safety? Could that be a piece for the Kansas City Chiefs? He could end up being a piece.
I could see Dallas doing that.
I don't really like the idea of trading down at all. Yeah, no, I don't like the idea. I can't hear him. I don't like the idea of trading down at all, to be honest with you. It's just I think this draft is already kind of a little thin at the top, right? Where
so you're not buying Jordan Schultz's tweet about draft trade heavy.
Yeah, no, I just think you can't if you have a top 10 pick. Like this is the only year you're gonna have a top 10 pick in Mahomes era. I will bet money on that.
We hope so.
Right.
Yeah. We hope so.
I would put money on that. I just think even in a bad year, like a top 10 pick is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And so don't trade out of that opportunity. I mean, if anything, trade up and find a guy. Like I would be more willing to trade up and make sure they get someone they really, really like in this draft than trade back and kind of get out of the first tier of draft picks and maybe not be able to get like a super high impact guy as much as maybe you thought you could at 9.
Okay, last one here before we get to the final break. Tyreek Hill's been posting a whole bunch of very vague stories on Instagram related to the Chiefs. He's hugged up on Andy. He's working out in Kansas City and all that. They're signing Tyreek Hill, right?
I think he's the perfect mid-season playoff mercenary. We've had that right in Kansas City where, we bring a guy in midway through the year.
D-Hop.
Even Terrell Suggs. Melvin Ingram, he didn't work out, but,
coaches, players.
Yeah, any of them. So I hope he just hangs out, chills out, and, let's sign him, October, November. How fun would that be? Just like Tyreek all of a sudden gets dropped into the team.
Surgery to go, though. So.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he needs to probably just, Like he has plenty of recovery to go. So I imagine.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, at this point, it's not something I think you can expect for week 1. But yeah, midseason
Playoff mercenary.
Yeah, he comes back.
Telling you.
He's and I think at best you're expecting him to have maybe like a Juju Smith-Schuster type impact from last year, where he comes in, savvy veteran, makes some clutch plays, but you're not relying on him to be your top receiver or one of your top receivers.
And just remember, Father Time is undefeated. Guys do become slower in their 30s than their mid-20s.
Oh yeah, but he was really, really fast. And even if he's slightly slower, he would still be really, really fast. He just wouldn't be whatever 4.2 something speed that he had before. And again, you're not counting on him as a major contributor. You
Right.
count on him as a veteran guy who's like maybe your 4th best wide
That's why I like
receiver.
the midseason thought. Just like, you're not even thinking about like forming the offense.
And that might be
to anything,
that might
just-
be what it becomes.
Right. No, honestly, I really hope that is how it works.
That would be perfect. I would hope we're not at a point week 9, week 10, he comes back and they're like, please, we need somebody
Right.
to give us some production at the receiving core.
Yeah, it'd just be fun,
Coming up next, we'll look at Francis Manoa, a guy that's one of the top tackles in the draft. Had some interesting things put out on him today. It's unfortunate for him because it could hurt him. Maybe teams don't care. Caleb Downs faced the same situation. We'll discuss that next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
My friends at Smokehouse Barbecue have 2 new items that you need to try. First, meet the Pickle Jack Sandwich. We're taking tender smoked ham and melted pepper jack cheese, piled high with our signature pickle fries. It's crunchy, spicy, and smoky as well. And if you need to warm up, how about some Smokehouse chili? It's not your average recipe. It's loaded with our famous chopped burnt ends and savory sausage. And don't forget carryout, which you can order at smokehousebbq.com. Visit Smokehouse Barbecue at Independence, Zona Rosa, and Gladstone. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. Ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Welcome back. Character Concerns Draft Special. Jay Binkley, Chris Unocero, Jackson Ogden, producing the operation. Ron Kopp from AP. We've been talking draft. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Appreciate it very much. Francis Mamanoa from Miami, their right tackle, is been in the news today. Ian Rappaport put out earlier. He's potentially the top tackle in the draft. Has decided to be at combine rechecks on Friday for additional imaging on a minor back issue that caused him some discomfort late in the season, sources say. This is awful late for this, to be honest with you.
Apparently, multiple teams wanted him to go to this recheck to get these scans.
But Caleb Downs, they flagged him at the combine for the medicals and stuff.
Yeah.
This, honestly, it takes a team that really trusts their training staff, like the Chiefs have obviously trusted Rick Burkholder with drafting Trey Smith in the 6th, with taking Josh Simmons in the 1st last year. A team will look past this, in my opinion. It might hurt him in the draft stock. Like, his agent's probably not real thrilled right now.
I do think it'll hurt his draft stock a little bit, because back issues for offensive linemen is, that's one of the worst issues you can have.
Yeah.
And we obviously saw that with like Mitchell Schwartz. That ended his career, unfortunately. And so you do have to think about that if you are thinking about, hey, if I'm drafting a tackle 1st round, I would like for them to be on my team for the next decade or so. Like, ideally, your 1st round pick, you'd like for them to be a decade player on your team. And so, in the back of the minds of a lot of GMs, they're going to be thinking about that back injury. And so, you want to get that rechecked. You want to see what he could do, see if he's good on there. But even if it's all clear, you still want to, especially if it's like a disc issue, because sometimes those things you can't operate on. So
I just think this whole thing with tackles is a really weird year when the right tackles are better than the left. You don't see that very often. There's always
not that often, but
the left tackle usually sneaks. The right tackle's always there, but the right tackles.
No, it's all right tackles.
The premiums are the right tackles. And then you get the Monroe Freelings of the world, and the.
Although some people try to put Monroe Freeling as a top 5 player,
like most years, a Caden Proctor would be top 10.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because he's a great athlete. But I hopefully for his sake, it's all good. But absolutely, if you're a general manager, you got to think about that.
It feels like this will definitely make him available at 9, in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, the back is like the last thing you want to hear about with an offensive lineman. Maybe any football player, to be honest with you. But when you talk about an offensive lineman, you're constantly catching, a huge defensive end, barreling at you, right? And so a lot of it is kind of having that stability, and having that core strength and kind of
And imagine you're trying to anchor against against a power rusher, and your back starts giving out like that.
And you're already maybe not the most overwhelming sized guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not someone that's the huge arms and tall and just massive.
Right.
So yeah, I honestly, he was already someone that to me kind of felt like he could be the one that slips in the draft out of all these guys we talk about, like the top 5, top 6. Like the Cardinals at number 3 are kind of the team that odds wise, but he could slip.
Great stuff. Thanks to Thor Nystrom joining us. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, it was awesome having you in studio, man.
Maybe Jackson Ogden, great job producing the operation. Thank you, Chris. We got new character concerns coming out.
Yeah.
I believe Monday.
Next Monday?
Next Thursday.
And then next Thursday.
So we'll be back and back. So anyway, thank you guys.
Thanks for listening, guys.